please. Oh, sorry. Water or coffee? I asked Commissioner Oakley to ask Florida Cracker if they would open Tuesdays on board meeting day.
Were they closed?
Yes. The
They
last two meetings.
usually they're only closed on Mondays.
No, at the past Tuesdays we've been here, they're closed. I'm like,
Hmm.
it's really unfortunate because not that my waist needs their muffins, but I love the muffins.
Well, no, it's good they can eat. You know, everyone eats there, so that's a good thing. My granddaughter's having no right now in New York, so if I get a call.
Just kidding.
My granddaughter chewing on her toes now that she has two teeth. Who's having heart surgery after very in New York. She has a hole in her heart.
How old?
She's 6 months old.
6 months.
She was born 8 weeks early, and it's common for preemies to have a hole in the heart, but usually they close. But hers got bigger, so we're praying that we can close it. Otherwise, she has to have to open it. Cut her little breast plate open. Look at yeah.
That's why I need to drink too much
This is
coffee.
Zach's baby.
Taking Connor's.
She spent a lot of time in this hospital. She's at Columbia Children's, which is one of the top hospitals in the world. So she's with good doctors.
Water on you.
Hey. Ready for game. How you doing, Noah? There's no inside there? Oh, okay.
Looks chilly outside.
Yeah, it's a cold front.
I know.
I love it.
Not the rain though. The rain needs to
We-
come in at night.
No, we need the rain.
No, I know.
But night is good. My grandson
And then it
wanted to
soaks all
fish.
up
Yeah.
The water soaks, the grass
True.
soaks it up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jeff, what's your guess?
This is not one I'm willing to bet on.
Yeah, I heard it's gonna be long, but I'm just going to Wesley Chapel after this. My grandson has hockey tryouts, 6:30, so I'm gonna.
But don't make us go visit across the field.
Oh no, I need to go. I'm hoping to be out of here by 5. Do you think we're gonna go longer? What's gonna keep?
I
us?
don't know.
Which one?
There doesn't seem to be a lot of public.
Yeah.
Most of this seems to be.
But I have to remind my daughter I need ice hockey clothes because this isn't gonna cut it. Let's see. Forgot to look for my jeans.
We're going to call back to the meeting of April 7th, 2026. Quiet, please. We're going to proceed with the public hearing, starting with ordinances, item P43. When was it? Clerk will announce when it was noticed.
P43, we have proof of publication in the Business Observer, March 6th, March 13th, March 20th, and March 27th, 2026.
Okay. Amy?
Good afternoon, Amy Toll with Planning Development and Economic Growth. Item P43 is an ordinance amending the Pasco County, an ordinance amending Pasco County Ordinance Number 22-40, contracting and expanding the boundaries of Palmetto Ridge Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190, Florida statutes, providing for miscellaneous provisions, providing for an effective date. This comes to you with a recommendation to accept public comment and adopt by roll call vote.
Okay. Anyone from the commission have any questions for staff? Anyone here from the public to speak to P43?
We have no one signed up.
No one online?
No one online.
All right. Anyone from the audience want to speak to P43? Okay, we'll close public comment to the board.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor say roll call vote.
Roll call.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Wakeman, not on the dais at this time. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Item P44, we approve.
P44, we have proof of publication in the Business Observer, March 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th, 2026.
Item P44 is an ordinance establishing Palmetto Ridge 2 Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, providing for authority and power of the district, providing for powers and duties of the district, providing for the Board of Supervisors of the district, providing for the district budget, providing for functions of the district, providing for miscellaneous provisions, providing for an effective date. This comes before you with a recommendation to accept public comment and adopt the ordinance by roll call vote.
Okay. Does anyone have questions for staff?
No.
No? Then we'll go to public comment. Anyone online?
None online nor signed up
No
in
signed up?
advance.
Anybody in the audience want to speak to item P44? Okay, it's to the board.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, roll call.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Wakeman, excused. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. And we're going to skip over items P45 and P46 will be heard with the companion items. And we'll go to item P47. Do we have proof?
P47, we have proof of publication of this item in the January 21st, 2026 edition of the Tampa Bay Times for the March 10th, 2026 Board of County Commissioners meeting, where it was continued to today.
Item P47 is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map, map 2-15 and sheet 13, from IL Industrial Light to COM Commercial on approximately 1.51 acres of real property located on the southeast corner of the intersection of State Road 52 and Bellamy Brothers Boulevard, and providing for additional text amendments as necessary for internal consistency, providing for a repealer severability and an effective date. This comes before you with a recommendation to accept public comment and adopt the ordinance by roll call vote.
Okay. Anyone have questions for staff? No? Okay. Anyone signed up for this item?
No one signed up, nor online.
Okay. Would anyone in the audience like to speak to item P47?
Move approval.
Close public comment. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Roll call.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Wakeman, excused. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Item P48, do we have proof?
P48, we have proof of publication of this item in the March 15th, 2026 edition of the Tampa Bay Times.
Item P48 is an ordinance amending Pasco County Ordinance Number 24-0808, expanding the boundaries of Vitas Way Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, providing for miscellaneous provisions, providing for an effective date. This comes before you with a recommendation to accept public comment and adopt the ordinance by roll call vote.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for staff? Anyone signed up for this item?
No one signed up, no one online.
Anyone in the audience like to speak to item P48? Seeing none, we'll close public
Move
comment.
approval.
Second.
Roll call vote.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Wakeman, excused. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. Now move for public hearings. The county attorney will read the procedures.
Be happy to, Mr. Chairman. There are two rezoning agendas, regular and consent. Staff will present each application to the Board of County Commissioners. If staff or Planning Commission has recommended approval and there is no opposition, the application will be considered by the board without further presentation. If staff or Planning Commission has recommended denial, or if there is opposition to the application, the applicant will be given 5 minutes for presentation. The opposition will be given 3 minutes for each individual, or 5 minutes for a group representative, and the applicant will be given 3 minutes for rebuttal. Any individual disagreeing with staff or Planning Commission recommendation, or anyone wishing to object to any condition of the rezoning, may at this time request that the petition be pulled from the consent agenda, in which case that application will be heard under the regular agenda later on during the meeting. Otherwise, all rezoning applications on the consent agenda will be approved by a single motion and vote. If you wish to speak to any petition, please give your name and address and whether or not you've been sworn for the record. These are quasi-judicial public hearings. The law in Florida is that mere public support or opposition of an application is insufficient for this board to take action. Please limit your comments to those criteria found within the board's land development code for rezonings. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, would you like to swear in the public?
Thank you, sir. If anyone is anticipating giving testimony in any of these matters, if you would please rise at this time. Again, even if you don't think so, but might, please rise, raise your right hand. Do you and each of you swear or affirm the testimony you will give in these matters is the truth, so help you God? If you will, when you approach the podium, please give your name and address and confirm that you were sworn. Thank you.
Today we have two public hearing items on the agenda that are continuances. We'll start with P49.
P49, we have proof of publication in the February 18th, 2026 edition of the Tampa Bay Times, supplemented by a certificate of certified mailings and site postings.
P49 is a conditional use request in the name of Villa Dade. It's a conditional use request for a short-term rental in an MF1 multiple-family medium-density district located in southeast Pasco County, approximately 160 feet east of the intersection of Saddlebrook Way and Villa Dade Court. This comes before you with a recommendation to continue the request to a date uncertain.
Okay. May I have a motion to continue P49?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 P50, we have proof of publication of the hearing of this matter at this time in the Tampa Bay Times, January 21st, 2026, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings. That publication was for the meeting of March 10th, 2026, where it was continued to today.
Item P50 is a zoning amendment in the name of Sav Property Holdings LLC, New Horizons MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District. It's a rezoning request from an R2 low-density residential district to an MPUD Master Planned Unit Development District to allow for the development of 31 single-family detached units and associated infrastructure located in central Pasco County, abutting south of Wells Road, approximately 675 feet west of Wells Road and Boyette Road, containing approximately 10.40 acres. This item comes before you with a continuance request to May 5th, 2026 at 1:30 p.m. in Dade City.
I have a motion to continue item P50.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And now we'll go to the consent agenda. Item P51.
P51, proof of publication of the hearing of this item in the Tampa Bay Times, February 18th, 2026, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
P51 is a zoning amendment in the name of Curly and 54 Commercial MPUD, Kimberly and Hogue, Avis, Maradian, Hyarp, I'm sorry if I'm killing that. Maradian, it's a rezoning request from an AR Agricultural Residential District to MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District to allow for the development of 58,250 square feet of commercial, retail, or office and associated infrastructure on approximately 4.94 acres located at the northeast corner of the intersection of Curly Road and County Road 54 in south central Pasco County. This item comes before you with a recommendation to approve with conditions.
Okay. Is anyone here to speak in opposition of item P51? Seeing no one, leave it on consent. P52?
P52, we have proof of publication in the Tampa Bay Times, February 18th, 2026, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
Item P52 is a zoning amendment in the name of Ronald W. Ripple and Donald W. Ripple, Ripple Project. It's a change in zoning from an AC Agricultural District to an AR5 Agricultural Residential District located in northeast Pasco County, approximately 2,200 feet south of Blanton Road and west of Packing House Road, containing approximately 12.72 acres. This item comes before you with a recommendation to approve.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience in opposition to item P52? No one online?
No one online. We did have one person signed up. Caitlin? Buell?
Is Caitlin going to speak in opposition to the project?
Right.
Are you going to be in opposition?
I was trying to speak in opposition to the Elite 52 MPUD. I don't believe that is this one.
That would be 56.
45, 56, and it says Elite 52.
Okay. All right. All right, so
Okay,
you're not,
thank you.
so you're not in opposition to P52. All right,
Okay,
we'll leave
thank
that
you.
on consent. Item P53.
P53, we have proof of publication, February 18th, 2026 edition of the Tampa Bay Times, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
Item P53 is a zoning amendment in the name of RZ 7896 Drift 11939 Emmaus LLC. It's a change in zoning from an AR Agricultural Residential District and a C2 General Commercial District to a C2 General Commercial District located in central Pasco County, at the southwest corner of the intersection of Emmaus Cemetery Road and Warder Road, containing approximately 5.59 acres. This comes before you with a recommendation to approve.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience or online to speak in opposition to item P53? Okay, seeing no one, we'll leave it on consent. May I have a motion?
So move all items on consent. Positive.
Second?
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, so now we're going to go back to hear items P45 and 56.
45, we have proof of publication, Tampa Bay Times, December 17th, 2025, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
Item P45 is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map, map 2-15 and sheet 12, from AG Agricultural and AGR Agricultural Rural to PD Plan Development on approximately 156 acres of real property located north of State Road 52, approximately 0.60 miles east of the intersection of State Road 52 and US Highway 41, and a text amendment creating Sub-Area Policy Flu 7.1.81, Elite 52 PD, and a map amendment to the future land use map 2-9, adding Sub-Area map 2-981, Elite 52 PD, and providing for additional text amendments as necessary for internal consistency, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date, and staff is available for the presentation.
Please present.
Sure.
Good afternoon. Hi, Ms. Daly, Planning and Development Economic Growth, and I will be presenting Elite 52 project. We'll start with the project overview. The applicant is proposing a comprehensive plan amendment to change the future land use classification from AG Agricultural and AGR Agricultural Rural to PD Planned Development. And the intent is to allow for the development of a mixed-use project on approximately 156 acres. The proposed development includes 175,000 square feet of commercial and retail, 120-room hotel, and 108 single-family homes. The subject site is located on the north side of State Road 52 and east of US Highway 41. There is a sub-area policy, Policy Flu 7.1.81, Elite State Road 52 PD, which is created to establish maximum development potential on the site, as well as other provisions that are implemented through the MPUD conditions of approval. And speaking of MPUD, there is a companion rezoning petition in the name of RZ 7811, Elite State Road 52, MPUD to rezone to MPUD, and that will be presented to you right after my presentation.
Okay. Do you want to do any questions for the P45 at this point? Okay. Carry on.
Okay, thank you. So this is a map showing the subject site general location. It is located in the North Market area, and portion of the site, as you can see on this map, is located within the rural transition area. This is an aerial showing the exact location of the subject site. As I mentioned before, it is north of State Road 52 and east of US 41, with direct frontage along State Road 52. And this slide provides the surrounding context of the subject site. Immediately west of the subject site, as you can see, is Pilot Country Airport, and further west along US 41 are approved and existing residential developments, including Talavera, which consists of 884 single-family detached units. To the southwest and south along State Road 52, there are several approved mixed-use developments, including Sand Ridge, Tibbetts Land at Gowers, and Longleaf Grove, which collectively include residential units as well as commercial and office entitlements. To the east is the rural transition area, and as you can see, to the northern portions and eastern portions of the subject site are located within this rural transition area, and the applicant has agreed to a conservation easement to protect the sensitive lands, which include Category 1 wetlands. Overall, the proposed mixed-use development is consistent with the evolving development pattern that's in this area. Next, we have the transportation network that's serving the subject site. As previously mentioned, the subject site has frontage along State Road 52, and it is located just east of US 41. State Road 52 is currently improved with a 12-foot multi-use path from US 41 to the Sun Coast. An additional 12-foot multi-use path is currently in the design phase along the north side of State Road 52, which is directly adjacent to the subject site. This is the concept plan, and I'm not gonna go into, well, the concept plan shows the overall layout of the development. I'm not gonna go into too much details about this, since Mr. William Vermillion will give more details when he does his presentation. This is a map showing the existing future land use classification as AG and AGR on the subject site. AG is to the north, Res 3. There you go, thank you. Res 3 is to the south, Connors or Newtown is to the south, and AGR is to the east. This is another future land use map showing the proposed future land use as PD. And this is a snippet of the proposed sub-area policy establishing the maximum development potential of 175,000 square feet of retail, office, and commercial, 120-room hotel, and 108 single-family detached. The policy also specifies that non-residential entitlements may not be converted to residential uses, and that certain commercial uses are prohibited to ensure compatibility with the surrounding neighborhoods. Finally, at number C, the policy directs that the southern portion of the site along State Road 52 contain non-residential uses. So after review and analysis, Planning and Development Economic Growth found the proposed amendment to be consistent with the following comprehensive plan policies. And with that, Planning and Development Economic Growth recommends the board to accept public comments and adopt the proposed comprehensive plan and ordinance by roll call vote. And I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? I'll have a question. So they're donating the right-of-way that we need for State Road 52?
I'm sorry, say that again, sir?
They're donating the right-of-way we need for State Road 52?
Correct. Yes,
And the conservation of the land is pretty much where the rural protected area is?
correct.
So
The
separated that
transition
out?
area, yes.
And it's all done in the site plan?
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
We do have a stub out, right, to the property to the east? I think so.
That would be the
This is the one?
rezoning,
Oh, okay.
and he's giving you a
I get those
thumbs
all
up.
mixed up, even after all these years.
Okay, so now's the time for public comment then. So does anyone want to speak to item P45 or P56?
We have signed up in advance Cheryl Buell. I'm
Oh, hang on.
Oh, yeah, she
The
gets to
applicant,
speak.
applicant's presentation.
Would you like to hear the MPUD presentation and then applicant, then public comment, so you hear both of them?
Sure,
That would give all the information you might need.
okay.
So you'll have to open the rezoning.
And swear 'em in.
That would be
Well,
56.
we've sworn them in, but
Good afternoon, William Vermillion, Planning Development Economic Growth, PD 267811, the Comprehensive Master Plan Unit
let
Development.
the clerk
Oh,
give
Proof of publication?
proof of publication,
That's,
yeah.
that's my fault, I appreciate
We
it.
have proof of publication of the hearing of this matter in the December 17th, 2025 edition of the Tampa Bay Times, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
William Vermillion, Planning Development Economic Growth, companion rezoning to Master Plan Unit Development. This is a rezoning request from AR Agricultural Residential and AC Agricultural District to Master Plan Unit Development to allow for the maximum development of 108 single-family detached units, 175,000 square feet of commercial retail, and 120 hotel rooms on approximately 156.2 total acres. This is in central Pasco County, located approximately 0.6 miles east of the intersection of State Road 52 and US 41. The original proposal, when it went to Planning Commission, originally contemplated 300 platted townhomes, and over the past few months, the applicant has worked with the residents and Planning Development Economic Growth to cut that number down to 108 single-family detached units instead of the previous contemplated 300 platted townhomes, to be a little bit more compatible with the surrounding land uses and the concerns of the neighbors at the airport. Here's the location map, the site aerial, the future land use map, and the current zoning map. This is the MPD master plan. Along the southern portion of the subject site, you can see the non-residential portions along State Road 52. And as you move northward, you hit the residential portion with the single-family detached units, as well as the access to the east, like was the aforementioned question. There is a connection to that eastern property, and it highlighted there in orange is the right-of-way dedication for State Road 52, which is based upon FDOT 60% design plans, which were previously spoken to when talking about the alternative transportation network in the area. That 12-foot multi-use path is a part of those 60% design plans. And you can see that the orange there isn't exactly uniform in terms of its width from center line. That's because it's actually based on a plan set, and the right-of-way width varies between 25 feet and 64 feet along the subject site. Wonderful. This context map on the MPD side, it aims to show the relation to the airport ordinance that's adopted and the various layers within the airport ordinance as it pertains to the allowable uses in the area. You can see highlighted there in green, you have the approach surface, and the RPZ highlighted there in that black and white checkered. The subject site is not encumbered by either the RPZ or the approach area. However, it is within the airport influence area, which is a large ellipse around the airport, as well as the airport zone. Here, pursuant to Land Development Code 605, this speaks to the allowable uses within both the airport influence area and the airport zone. A quick summary of these tables here: the proposed uses within this MPD, the single-family detached, as well as the commercial retail and the hotel, are all allowable pursuant to 605 within both the airport influence area and the airport zone. The only thing worth mentioning is that specifically hotel is demarcated with an AR, which means that they're going to have additional review at site plan for the hotel to make sure that it's in conformance with the surrounding airport. This is the binding conceptual plan, and you'll see here that now with the 108 platted single-family detached, the pink there is the larger lots, which abut the existing residential neighborhood along the airport, offering larger lots behind the existing residential uses, with the smaller lots being shielded by those larger lots. And what's shown on the plan is the enhanced landscape buffer. Typically, this project would require a type A buffer, which is only 10 feet in width and has shade trees, one per every 30 feet. In this case, this is a 15-foot wide buffer, with the shade trees being 12 feet apart, and they must be 12 feet tall at least at planting, and with the specific species, which is the southern red cedar, so the species is already picked out for the residents, as well as those evergreen shrubs and the 8-foot tall wall or fence. And if I go back one slide, you can see that that enhanced buffer is essentially splitting those purple lots from the existing residential for that enhanced buffer. There are two variations from the Land Development Code with this application, the first being from 901-6D11 street design and dedication requirements. The applicant is not proposing an interconnect to the north or to the west. To the west is the existing airport community, and to the north is the Category 1 wetlands. And from Land Development Code 8056, restrictions on post-development wetlands and upland buffers. This is for parcels under single ownership, like the commercial, retail, and hotel, to maintain their common space. This comes to you with a recommendation both from the Planning Commission and the Planning and Development Economic Growth Department. I'm available for any questions.
Okay, any questions for staff? Okay, is it time for the
Thank you.
applicant?
Ex partes were submitted to the clerk's office on this record as well.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Barbara Wilhite, 6327 Grand Boulevard, for the applicant. Just a couple things to note from the discussions. Yes, Chairman Mariano, we are having a State Road 52 dedication at no cost. My client could have requested right-of-way credits against the right-of-way portion of the mobility fee, but they agreed to convey that at no cost to the county. Yes, the portion of the property is in the rural transitional area. That is the property where our wetlands are located. Our wetlands are going into a conservation easement, so there'll be no development on those wetlands within the rural transitional area. I would note that we started out with a density of 300 townhomes, fairly consistent with what is on the west side of Pilot Country. There are apartments adjacent to the homes on the west side. There's 40-foot lots. So we originally came in with a townhome project at 5.5 dwelling units per net acre. After hearing comments about the project, my client decided to change his project to single-family detached homes. That is a density of 2.0 units per developable acre. So we went from 5.5 to 2. I would note that the land use to our west is Res 3. 3 units per developable acre is the land use designation. So consistency there. I think staff did a great job going over our enhanced buffer. We came in with an enhanced buffer to begin with because we knew of the adjacency with the existing homes on our west. And Planning Commission said, hey, we'd like you to beef that up. And we picked a particular species of tree, the southern red cedar, because the cedars tend to be not just the trunk and then the leafy part of the tree, all the way from ground, all the way up. They're pretty consistent. We're going to plant those at 12 feet high. So those will grow to be a nice buffer, and they'll start out as a very nice buffer. Instead of 30 feet on center, they're 12 feet on center. With that, would like to hear from the questions that might be from the residents, and we'll be back. We have our team available if you have any
Ask
questions.
Okay, any questions for the applicant?
Barbara,
Ms. Rokley?
this project, before you, and you were talking about the changes you made, this project came to us about 2 or 3 years ago?
This project, it never got to the board. It
Never
was on
got
your
to this
agenda.
point, yeah.
We saw it on your agenda because we had it noticed, but when we noticed it, then we had the community, the Pilot Country community, wanted to talk to my client, Spencer Brass. He had meetings with them, and then he decided to change his project from townhomes to single-family
Right.
homes. But yes, you've seen it before, you just never got to hear it until now.
Right.
We slowed down and worked on it some more.
Yeah, I recollect seeing and hearing about it, but never to this point, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions? Okay, thank you. And time for public comment?
First.
Anyone on the list?
Yes, first signed up, Caitlin Buell.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Buell. My address is 11934 Driver Lane, and I have been sworn. So as I said, my name is Caitlin Buell. My husband and I live in Pilot Country. I'm a flight nurse and a private pilot. My husband is a commercial pilot. I wanted to say thank you to you all for all the work you have done so far to preserve the airport as a Pasco County resource. I understand that this parcel of land won't remain a perfectly good cow pasture forever, and I'm not opposed to having neighbors back there, but there are a few points I would like to bring up. The developments of similar density cited in this proposal on the west side of the airport are separated from the airport by basically a forest. These lots on the east side are right up against my property line. They are 0.165 acres compared to the 1 acre lots in Pilot Country and the 5 to 10 acre lots at Pasco Trails on the other side. I am going to have 4 or 5 neighbors just on my section of the fence line. The density of the lots combined with the height of the buildings is going to remove any privacy I have in my own backyard. I have asked before that they limit the houses bordering Pilot Country to 1 story, but that is apparently an unreasonable request. The attorney last time stated that the houses could be up to 3 stories with a current height limit of 35 feet, but that she was willing to change the wording to 2 stories. I request that the wording is changed to 2 stories before the project is approved. Secondly, the project documentation states that the barrier will be an 8-foot wall or opaque fence. I request that this be specified as a wall. A fence would be blown over on an annual basis, and children or pets may find themselves with sudden access to an active taxiway. This is a predictable safety issue that could be easily avoided. Lastly, I would like to say that the layout of this development illustrates my point that the density will have a negative impact on privacy and property values. The person behind this project has spared his own property from the impact. The project team have said they didn't know where he lived when they designed it. However, this person's name and address are in the list of households notified by mail of the rezoning. I do not begrudge the owner of the property anything. I think that most people, given the opportunity, would do the same. I would ask, however, that this board helps his neighbors in whatever ways are possible to preserve their privacy and their property values. Thank you for listening.
Excuse me.
Mr. Starkey.
Can I get your address, please?
Yeah, 11934 Driver Lane.
109.
Sorry, 11934.
11934. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there anything I can clarify before I leave?
No, it's just input for you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Budd.
Okay, Mark Budd, I've been sworn. 11748 Driver Lane. It's in Pilot Country. Just down the street from Caitlin. I agree with everything Caitlin said, so I'm not going to reiterate that stuff.
Can you talk into the microphone?
I agree with everything Caitlin said. I have the same concerns. I'm not opposed to a development there, but still I think that even when it was originally proposed with the 300 plus was just ridiculous, you know, so no way that was going to get through. So they finally reduced it to something a little bit better, but it's still not, the density is still high. And I have the concerns about the height, looking at, I'm right on the border there too. Actually, I live just south of one of the, Mark Twalhoven, that's one of the guys pushing this development. He has the park behind him, so he doesn't have to worry about a wall of 3-story structures behind him. And I was just told last time I was here that I don't own the view. I never intended on owning the view, but I sure don't want this monstrosity behind my house and my privacy violated and my property values go down. So something reasonable has to be done there. The other thing I want to point out is around the airport, everybody thinks that, oh, you know, as long as you're not coming in on the approach path or the departure path, that you're safe. I'm going to bring your attention to accident that happened down at Boca Raton last year, about this time. Good friend of mine, actually. Very experienced pilot. Military guy, advanced aerobatic guy, airline guy. Probably one of the 1% guys that really knows his stuff. Very experienced flyer. Took off from Boca Raton. Had an issue right after takeoff. Hard over on the rudder. Could barely keep the thing in the sky. Circled the airport for 17 minutes trying to keep it under control. He had a very narrow airspeed window that he had to stay within. So he was, if you look around that airport, our airport, several miles around his radius. You can look it up on the net. Unfortunately, he ended up losing control, but he was trying to get back to the airport. It was amazing that he didn't hit something on the ground other than another vehicle. Three people perished there. So the idea that everything is safe around the airport except for that entryway and the exit way, you know, you're just fooling yourselves. You know, so there is that risk. We all understand that risk there. When these other people come in and they sign a little thing saying, oh, you can't go after anybody on the airport, you know, they don't know what they're getting into. Even though that risk is very minute, it's still there. Okay, so they need to understand that. And so the wording that they need to be looking at needs to let them really know what that risk is. And you guys ought to know what that risk is too, because I don't think you do.
Thank you. And Commissioner, you wanted to get this address?
Yeah, what was your address?
11748 Driver Lane.
1174.
8.
1174. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak to this item? Okay, to the applicant.
Barbara Wilhite again for the applicant. And yes, we will agree on the record that the homes will be no more than 2 stories. I noticed that in my notes when I was getting ready for today, that we did talk about that at Planning Commission. I usually don't miss things coming into the board, but yes, 2 stories are fine. I'll say on the record again, with regard to the owner of a portion of this property and where the park's located, I'm stating on the record under oath, no idea that the owner had property adjacent to this project, and the park was located where it was located as a result of planning and design, not as a result of us being told where to put something. On the west side comparison of the projects on the west, I've represented both of those projects. On the west side, there are 4 adjacent homes to retail and apartments, and the only thing separating them are parking spaces. So the notice that we have to put forth are the notices that are in your airport ordinance that you all adopted and we have to follow. So with that, we would ask for your support of the project.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Okay. To the board.
Move approval?
I second.
And that'll be for P45?
Yes.
We've got 2 items there.
So P45, that'll be the land use, that'll be a
So
roll
we do
call?
them separate, or we do them together?
Gotta do
No,
them
you got to
separate.
do them separately.
So P45 is roll call?
Okay.
We have a motion.
You have a motion and a second, yes.
Where was the second?
Me.
Commissioner Hager.
Okay. District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Wakeman. Is absent. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. And Commissioner Wakeman is excused.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes 4-0. And now item P56. And let's note that there was a change, and maybe he'll address the 2-story limitation. So they made comments of going down to a 2-story limitation
Yes.
on P56?
Yeah, she put that on record. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Which condition are you amending to do that?
Let us find out. One moment, please.
Those dimensional standards are on the face of the MPUD plan, so we'll be amending the MPUD plan to include the 2-story height limitation on the residential homes.
I do have a question for Barbara. Or
What was-
staff. The airplane hangars, what is the setback from the property line for those?
Well, I didn't measure the hangars, but I can say the closest home to our homes is 130 feet. The average is about 160 feet distance between what the homes will be.
Yeah, it just seems like the hangars are right there in the new people's backyards. So,
Yes.
I mean, hopefully they're, I guess I think it has to be at least 15 feet for the property line of building? I don't know. I'm just wondering that I'm looking at the addresses, especially this last gentleman who spoke, 11748. The hangar will block his view of any houses back there, so.
Plus our buffer, and then we have, our setback is 15 feet, on top of our 15-foot buffer, and then the setbacks that they have.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll close the discussion. Back to the board. Item P56 at this point. No.
I have a couple of thoughts. In looking at if you zoomed out and looked at the picture, I see larger lots to the right, kind of larger lots in Pilot Country. So when I spoke with Barbara this last time, I thought, for me, I wish we had some larger lots in here. I don't think it could be to the size of Pilot Country or or the other one, but these people are giving up a lot of land for conservation over there. And I wouldn't say that at this far along in the process, that's not fair. But just something that I think about that I'd like to see some of the larger lots around here because to me, that's kind of development pattern, except what we did over there by 41. But I'm going to vote for this. I also mentioned that I don't know why it's the new guy's responsibility to buffer from the house that's there. You don't own your view. You don't own the property behind you, but we put this requirement on the new guy to block the view of an existing house. I mean, it's, to me, we do that all the time. I just have always been a little bit uncomfortable. If you don't want to see your neighbor, you can plant a tree in your yard, but I'll be voting for the project. So.
And I think part of the reason for the buffer is to accommodate for the lot sizes, so.
But we don't typically buffer residential to residential.
No, it was, I think, goodwill on the
Yeah.
applicant to go forward and do it.
So that's an extra step that we're having.
I think it deals with the
Mr. Yeager?
fact
I just
that
have a comment that when this first was a townhome project, I wasn't a fan of this project, and I think you guys worked really hard and got it right this time. So thank you to staff, thank you to Barbara and her client as well.
Commissioner Oakley?
I think some of that buffering you see that they're being required to do is because it is an airport and of the setbacks from that. Very important, I think, so.
I did listen to the planning commission meeting on this, and I did hear them say that trees were taken out, probably without a permit, in the top part of this, and I think as part of the applicant's, it's part of the applicant's responsibility to mitigate for those trees that were taken out without permission? Is that right?
Barbara Wilhite, again, for the record, a prior owner or alleged owner did a lot of things to this property prior to my client and me. There's actually 2 client owners of this property in total. They're ultimately responsible because they own the property, so the ordinance relative to trees and when you take trees out, when you go to develop, will all apply to them. So, but my clients did not do those things to the property, but they are responsible for the property and responsible to comply with your ordinance and your new tree ordinance.
So nothing happens to anyone for all the trees that were taken out?
No, it's your tree ordinance has a clawback in it.
A clawback, okay,
Has a
that's what I
clawback.
thought. I just want to remember our conversation. Thank you.
Okay, so item P56 to the board.
Move-
Approval?
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, now we're going to go to the second set. It'll be item P46 and then P54.
P58 is the companion.
P58, sorry.
But, yeah. P46, we have proof of publication for the March 10th, 2026 Board of County Commissioners meeting. That publication appeared in the November 26, 2025 edition of the Tampa Bay Times and was supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings. It was continued to today.
Good afternoon, Amy Toll, Planning, Development, and Economic Growth. Item P46 is an ordinance amending the Pasco County Comprehensive Plan, providing for a comprehensive plan text amendment to Sub-Area Policy Flu 7.1.63, North Pasco Resort, and providing for additional text amendments as necessary for internal consistency, providing for a repealer, severability, and an effective date. Staff is available for a presentation on this item.
Okay, please present.
Hi, Mazzilli, Planning, Development, Economic Growth. Okay. So the applicant is proposing a comprehensive plan text amendment to sub-area policy Flu 7.1.63, North Pasco RV Resort. And the purpose of this amendment is to change the name of the PD to North Pasco Resort. So we're dropping the RV to reduce the RV spaces from 550 to 350 and to allow for the development of a 250 four-story resort hotel. The subject site is approximately 131.68 acres in size, and it is located along I-75, east of Lake Iola Road and south of Blanton Road. There is a companion substantial modification rezoning petition to the existing North Pasco Resort MPUD. This is a map showing the general location of the subject site. It is located in the North Market area within the northeast Pasco rural area. This is a zoomed-in aerial of the location of the subject site. Like I mentioned, it is located along I-75 interstate, east of Lake Iola and south of Blanton Road. This is a map showing the existing future land use classification as PD on the subject site, and it is surrounded by AGR, future land use classification, all around. This slide outlines the proposed amendment to the existing sub-area policy. So the change include reduction of the RV spaces from 550 to 350 and addition of a 250-room, 4-story resort hotel. The proposed development will remain under one single ownership with no condominium platting and no subdivision into 3 or more parcels. The policy or the sub-area policy amendment continues to prohibit permanent residency and limits the length of stay to maintain a transient stay. It also restricts the uses near Moody Lake to passive recreation to preserve the environmental sensitivity of that area.
No.
And finally,
I read the beginning.
the amendment include a minimum setback of 274 feet from the hotel room or from the hotel resort from Lake Iola Road right-of-way. Overall, these changes are intended to balance a reduced RV component with a more traditional resort lodging option, while of course maintaining compatibility with the surrounding agricultural land uses. Next, we have the binding concept plan showing the overall layout of the development. And again, I'll save the details for William Vermillion, who will be working you through the details of this concept plan during his MPUD presentation. There you go. The proposed text amendment is consistent with the following comprehensive plan policies. And with that, Planning and Development Economic Growth recommends the board to accept public comment, adopt the proposed comprehensive plan text amendment and ordinance by roll call vote.
Okay. Any questions for staff at this point? Okay, so now we'll have the rezoning of P58.
P58, we have proof of publication of the hearing of this matter in the November 26th, 2025 edition of the St. Tampa Bay Times, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings. That advertisement was for the meeting of January 6th, 2026, where it was continued to March 10th, 2026, where it was continued to today.
Good afternoon, William Vermillion, Planning Development Economic Growth, the companion master plan unit development to the aforementioned comprehensive plan. This is PDE 267883, the substantial amendment to the North Pasco RV Resort. This amendment does a couple different things. The first is to reduce the RV spaces from the previously approved 550 to a total of 350 RV spaces, to allow a hotel as an allowable use for 250 rooms, and to amend the name from North Pasco RV Resort to North Pasco Resort MPUD. This is located in the North Market area on the east side of Lake Iola Road on the west side of I-75. Here is the location map, the current zoning map reflecting MPUD, and the existing future land use map reflecting PD. Here is the contextual map. There's one MPUD within the 1 mile radius of the subject site, which is the Evans County Line Road 80 MPUD, which was approved last year for that 100,000 square feet of commercial and 1.5 million square feet of light industrial with the contingent platted townhomes and condominiums that were stipulated for the time limit of 20 years. This is the MPUD master plan, and this is the binding concept plan showing all of the RV spaces as well as the entrance into the project. One of the things that changed at Planning Commission was, if I were to zoom in, what looks like a gatehouse for the entrance essentially became an optional sheriff's workstation, to where the Pasco County sheriffs in the area could use that workstation there at the guardhouse, which is, it's denoted there as C, but it's kind of tough to see. This is the Lake Iola corridor buffer. This was a part of the original plan. Nothing's changing on this, but this really highlights the buffer requirement for the scenic highway that is Lake Iola from this resort MPUD. You can see the large berm and landscaping there, which is a total of, I believe that's 48 feet if I'm reading that correctly. And you see that there's a total of 274 feet from the right-of-way to the actual hotel that's being enabled in the substantial modification. There is also a binding master landscape plan that was previously approved that's remaining unchanged. This indicates all the approved landscape. Nothing's changed in this, and if we were to go to the next slide, my clicker was taken away. This here is showing all the different species.
You've lost your privileges, apparently.
And if you think we can read that,
neither you nor I can read this. This is me trying to say none of the master landscaping is changing. This is just indicative of how thought out the landscaping is within this resort style project. This is all the specific types of trees, not only that exterior buffer from Lake Iola, but also internal between the RV spaces themselves and internal to the project. This here, and there's the actual pictorial visual there of the internal buffering that happens in between the spaces with its prescribed species of tree and shrub. Next slide. This shows some of the transportation improvements to Lake Iola Road. In this case, as well as the bike pedestrian facilities that were previously agreed to in 2022 along there on that shoulder as you move north to Bayhead. This project does have all the applicable site access requirements to include the left and right turn lanes in and out of the project, which is depicted here on the intersection exhibit. A couple things to note as well in the area as it pertains to the capital improvement program. The intersection of Lake Iola and Blanton, just to the north, which is on the south side of that Evans 80 project that I mentioned previously, was scheduled to begin construction, some intersection improvements there in 2026. It's in its design phase currently, and it includes the realignment of that intersection as well as lanes and stop control measures that the county went out and started doing in 2026. Next slide. Both PDE and the Planning Commission recommend approval of conditions for this project. I'm here for any further questions.
Questions for staff? Well, let me ask you a question. With the reduction, I think is a good thing, but the one concern here is anything happening with the stage? I know we addressed it a long time ago. Can you talk about the stage where the music's gonna be played, now it's gonna be protecting around the properties?
Absolutely. That was one of the nice things that that buffer exhibit that showed the right-of-way cross-section showed. The first thing it showed was the hotel's 275 feet from the right-of-way, so really you're talking about the closest neighbor is even further than that on the other side of Lake Iola. We also have all the applicable sounds and decibel regulations in the conditions of approval for this project, in accordance with the Pasco County Sound Ordinance.
Okay. Anyone else have questions?
Just,
Ms. Robley?
just one question. Are they gonna do anything with, County Road 41 and where Lake Ola hits, or are they gonna make any improvements in that connection? I know when we talked about it early on, FDOT did not require any improvements there.
Yes, sir. To my knowledge, the only improvements that were necessitated by the impacts to Lake Iola Road there were the turn lanes in and out and those intersection improvements, as well as what the county's handling to the
Okay.
north.
All right, thank you.
All right, and to the applicant.
Good afternoon again, Barbara Wilhite, 6327 Grand Boulevard. For the applicant, I've had the pleasure of representing this project from the beginning when it was approved before. Staff did an amazing job with their presentation. Really doesn't leave much for me to do, but I can read to you the condition that we wrote with regard to the outdoor entertainment area. We wrote a specific condition at MPUD condition 30, it's like G, 30G. Any outdoor entertainment area shall be limited to resort guests and restaurant bar patrons only. There should be no stage lighting that creates light spill or glare off-site. The project will comply with the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 66, Division 2, regarding noise ordinance. So it says who, how, and how loud in that condition that we wrote. And with that, I've got my team here. We'll see what the public comment is and be glad to address anything. Thank you.
Any questions of the applicant? Okay. So this is a public hearing. So anyone want to speak to items P46 or P58?
We have signed up Marie Peters.
So Marie, just for you and everyone else, so on this item, you're going to be able to speak for 3 minutes on 46 and then also 58, or you can combine it together, but,
I'll just combine them together.
okay.
Primarily on the later one, the earliest one. On that.
Ma'am, your name and address for the record.
Marie Peters, 30020 Johnston Road, Dade City, Florida.
And have you been sworn for the rezoning?
I have been sworn, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you look at that picture, in the bottom left corner, all those pines are gone. The hurricane took them out, had to be removed, which puts that house right there. You can see on the left bottom boundary, completely unprotected from the music and the, that's something to consider. It's not that somebody's a quarter mile down the road. They're a matter of feet from that property there. Also, the other corner, opposite those pines, those trees are being removed for an electrical substation, So there's no more sound barrier for that event center noise coming down the road. The other thing I want to point out is I was very concerned to just see that the hotel residents can stay there for a year. That's not temporary housing. That's real close to permanent. And nothing was said about the interval between the first year, how long do you have to stay out before you can just move into a different unit and have permanent living there. That's very concerning because it certainly adds to the permanent traffic that we're going to have in addition to everything else. And if you're looking at 600 units, and of those 350 units are RVs, they could, when you're coming off the interstate, it's a very short off-ramp, it's a very short jump over County Road 31 to Lake Iola Road, it's already backing up from morning traffic trying to get to work. And these are going to be cars or trucks pulling RVs, maybe not all of the 350, but a lot. And that's going to back traffic possibly all the way up the interstate and up the off-ramp. I don't think that's been looked at when you think about when there's an event, a certain number of people are going to get in there 3 or 4 days early. But on the day of the event or the day before the event, there's going to be a lot of incoming traffic. How are people on Johnson Road going to get out if it's backed up? That's part of our concern. And then also, I don't know if planning is aware of it. Just north of this parcel is a severely undersized culvert linking the two lakes, Moody to Middle. Just in the last year, the owners of those people on the end of each culvert has opened it up and taken out trees and brush and everything, and you can stand it on Lake Iola and you can see both lakes. So whatever they dump in the lake is going over to the other lake. And if there's a heavy rain year and that lake's already full, you're going to have Lake Iola Road going underwater. So I've been to almost every meeting on this place, and nobody has said anything about that little culvert under Lake Iola Road connecting the two lakes, which would then prevent us from getting out, unless we go all the way down through San Ann to get out. So with that, I would just wish you'd do something about the permanent, semi-permanent 250 people who could live in the hotel. I think that's not right for our area. No hotel needs to be 1.5 miles off the interstate. It's crazy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nancy Hazelwood?
You have a motion to receive and file?
Move to receive and file.
Who wants them?
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nancy Hazelwood, 34110, a nice place. How are y'all today?
Nancy, just acknowledge you were sworn.
Yes, sir. So in the last episode of the RV park, no one had heard of the entertainment area. I'm glad you brought it up. The paper you just received has what Ms. Wilhite said. That's from the application, and that's what I'm handing out to you. She and I did actually have a talk about this at the neighborhood meeting. And it makes me wonder about what stakeholders tell you sometimes and what they don't about things. I think that y'all need to have a lot of respect because y'all deserve it. I know that y'all do a lot above and beyond. So, so we'll go on. I'm still asking that the county address the issue of the entertainment area. This is still northeast protected area, and outdoor entertainment will have a direct impact on the area. That's for 6 months of the year. I mean, they've got to entertain them for 6 months. And if you add together the hotel and the RV park and not the rest of the places they can stay and the lodges and everything else, you could have over 1,000 people there every day for whatever entertainment they're planning there. And that's what concerns me. It doesn't belong in the Northeast Rural Area Plan.
You've got one other big project almost a mile away, and everything else is rural around there. If you want to allow the entertainment, please put it inside or make it unamplified. Either of those conditions would work out and help keep noise. If you're thinking about the noise ordinance for the county, that doesn't work real well in the northeast rural area. That addresses cities. It addresses the rest of the county. I would certainly like it if you all would finally put together a noise ordinance in the northeast rural area that takes into account that we are rural. So also, when Ms. Hyatt was going over things, I saw them say that only things allowed would be passive recreation. If you consider this recreation, it's not going to be a passive recreation use if you've got 1,000 units of people there and all those units that they're staying in. My consideration for this is it needs a dab of work, and I'm hoping y'all will make sure that we don't have noise going outside this area. Thank you.
Kim Witt.
Hi, my name is Kim Witt. I've been sworn in. My address is 17030 Palomino Lake Drive. I live off of Johnston Road, right down from the RV park. The original plan for the RV did not include the 250-room hotel and then an entertainment area. The amount of water that would be pulled from the aquifer will be 79.252 per room. That is about 20,000 gallons if all of them were occupied. Each RV consumes between 50 to 100 gallons per water per day, depending on the occupancy. And the Pasco County is forcing us to have water restrictions. It states, modified phase 3, extreme water shortage, yet you guys allow the continued large developments, the lagoons, pools, etc., massive water consumption, and again, I'm limited on what I can do on my property. Thank you.
That's the last person signed up in advance.
Okay, I see someone approaching. No? Okay. Anyone else here to speak to this? Please come forward. That's okay.
Your name and address for the record, and were you sworn?
I was not sworn.
Okay, go ahead and your name and address,
Brenda
please.
Scarborough, 17826 Palomino Lake Drive, Dade City.
Okay,
You
is
swear-
there anyone else who may speak that didn't get sworn in?
Were you sworn, sir? Okay.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this matter is the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we all came to a meeting in 2020, and reluctantly, we had to accept that an RV park was going to be part of our community. But we were told it was good for our community. We were then told that the RV park was now going to be called a North Resort, Pasco Resort, and would have 250 hotel rooms and 350 RV spaces as well. How can you assume that a hotel in a rural community on a 2-lane road is not to bring chaos to our northeast rural overlay? At 85% occupancy just in the hotel, that would be 200 cars a day of people staying one night, doubtfully, but possibly 2 nights. The developer has the right to answer, as he has perfect, this is our community, but who is going to stay in these rooms? We're 50 miles from Disney World, SeaWorld, and Universal, 27 miles from Busch Gardens. No one is coming just to see our charming and wonderful Dade City. The people using this hotel will be traveling north or south and want a quick stop off at the interstate. The average hotel room, I'm going back to her water usage, is 150 gallons of water per night. Obviously, his goal is to be 100% occupancy, but even at 85% occupancy, that's 212 rooms per night. That's 32,000 gallons per day, 222,000 gallons per week, and 11 million gallons used in 1 year. How much water can you continue to take from our community and from residents who are dependent on their wells by using 11 million gallons a year on visitors passing through, not people living there? RVs and people in campers are used to limiting their water. Hotel users are not. I travel a lot, and I know that I am truly not worried about how long my shower is and how many times I flush the toilet. And when I leave, more water is used to clean and wash linens. RVs hook up with a water hose and bring their own linens. It is obvious that the developer of this project has realized that the income produced from just an RV park doesn't match his needs. So he is wanting to build a hotel to make up the difference and make this now a resort, not a family-friendly RV park. We ask that you not approve a hotel and stick to the original plan that was approved as an RV park for your residents, not just for a developer. Thank you.
Is there anyone else, please get behind this gentleman, otherwise we'll close public comment for inside here.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Brent Holder. My address is 17722 Palomino Lake Drive, and I have been sworn. You know, I came here today. I wasn't planning on speaking. I just came to listen. And when I was listening, several things were said that really struck me as being odd. We've heard mention numerous times in this discussion about the Northeast Pasco overlay, and the spirit of the Northeast Pasco overlay can be boiled down into one term, and that's rural. And if you think about how this resort in a rural area is compatible, the two just don't go together. You are in a community that has 2-lane roads, 2-lane roads in, 2-lane roads out. Everything around is 2-lane roads. And the amount of people, the amount of vehicles that this is going to bring to the area definitely is not compatible. You know, when this project started, and we did not have the hotel in it, I have not talked to anybody, and I've talked to quite a few people, any residents in the area, any neighbors who are for this project. It seems to me there's obviously one group that is for the project, and that would be the owners or the people that are going to benefit, and that is not the residents of this area. You know, it's funny. I heard speaking earlier that it was mentioned that the 4-story hotel was going to be, they discussed compatibility with the surrounding rural area. Think about the ludicrousy of that statement. A 4-story resort hotel in a rural area. Is that compatible? I don't think it is. And we heard about the buffer area, a buffer for a 4-story resort hotel. Trees, a berm that's 10 feet tall, it doesn't work. I implore the commission here to listen and to back the residents of this area. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, can I get your address again?
Sir.
Can I have your address again?
Sure, 17722 Palomino Lake Drive.
Palomino Lake, okay, thank you.
Okay. Seeing no one else, we're going to close public comment in here. Is there anyone online?
No, sir.
Okay. To the applicant.
Okay.
Commissioners, this is a resort. It was always going to be a resort. It's actually under construction as we speak. We're just making a modification to reduce some RV spaces and add hotel rooms. Same people, just staying in different place. Some people like to stay in their RV, like myself. And I'm those who, by the way. I have an RV. And all the other who's that I see when I'm at the RV resorts are pretty good who's. went through compatibility. We actually had the author of the Northeast Pasco rural area come to you when this resort was approved and tell you how it was compatible with the Northeast rural area, the person who wrote it. Staff did make a statement regarding occupancy. There can be no permanent occupancy in our hotel rooms, in our RV spaces, our yurts, or our Airstreams. The county follows Florida statutes to determine what's permanent occupancy and what's transient. And you can't have in a 12-month period, you cannot have occupancy more than 6 months. And you have to have, this is all state driven. You have to give a guest register as required by Florida statutes 509.101. At the end of the stay, the RV shall be removed or stored in any on-site storage facility. The developer shall maintain those guest registers, RV license plate numbers. I could go on and on and on. I mean, it's like almost a page of how that all works. I can tell you every detail about this resort has been looked at and spelled out, and there's long conditions that has to do with each one of these things. Traffic was looked at when we had the resort approved. This project was always going to be a resort, and there was always going to be music. There was always going to be outdoor music by the pool, just like there's going to be currently. Again, all we did was people are going to come in RVs. We added another way for them to enjoy the resort. Hotel rooms as opposed to the RV or the resort cottage. Passive recreation that staff mentioned was our limitation that we put on anything down by Moody Lake. You'll see on the binding concept plan how as we get towards the lake, the development drops off, and all we can do is passive recreation. There's limitations on what kind of, you can't have any motorized boats, a whole bunch of limitations in regard to Moody Lake. They're already in the current approval. The berm and the trees on the Lake Iola Scenic Corridor Buffer are substantial. We were thoughtful in where we placed the hotel. It's 274 feet back from the Lake Iola right-of-way. I think I hit each one of the, I would say about the sheriff's sheriff's area. I did meet a nice gentleman at the neighborhood meeting, and he said, Mrs. Wilhite, we want something that will relate to our community. And I have an idea. I'm like, okay, you all know me. I love ideas. So he said, would your client go talk to the sheriff's department and see if you put an area with a bathroom and a dedicated area within your resort, towards the front of your resort, would they come and potentially stop there and work so we'd have more police presence in our community? Now, I can't make them come, but we're going to build the place so that they can come. And that came from a resident at the neighborhood meeting that came up with that. We followed through and committed to it. So, thank you very much.
Question?
Mr. Starkey, before you
Yeah.
Mr. Starkey first.
I have two questions. I'm not sure I ever heard you say on-site storage before. So where is that and what is that?
Like all RV resorts, there are times when you're not ready to take your RV out and you will store it. So there's a storage area on site.
Can you take that off?
Trailers and the like.
Yeah. Where is the on-site storage?
The area where we could do on-site storage is in the corner. You got to go back to it's down here in the bottom corner. People bring golf carts and they need trailers.
Where?
Golf carts.
Where is that?
In the bottom.
Is there? Can she have a pointer?
It goes to a V. It goes to a V. And you see the V towards the bottom there? That's where you would do any storage or trailer.
So that's like a field where, will it look like the one on Decubulus?
We have a buffer on both sides of that. There's a corridor buffer on the west and then the buffer to 75. So it's a buffered area.
So what are those little gray buildings there?
I see pickleball courts and an open area and trees is what I see.
No, there's built 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right down on I-75 and.
There's
like
six
in the
buildings
point
or
is what
something
she's looking
down
at.
in the corner.
Maybe if you use the letters that are closest.
It's labeled active recreation, so.
It's what?
it's labeled active recreation. I don't know what's south there. They're talking to three houses down.
No, that's where the pickleball courts are. I'm talking about, right there. What are those?
Trees?
No. It's something built. Is that, okay. I do, I can't, what do you think that is?
We're gonna find out.
I think they
Is that
told me
some,
once.
They are
some
part of
kind
our
of storage
sewage-
area?
Part of our on-site sewage treatment.
Yeah, I was thinking that you had
Facilities,
told me
yeah.
that something on that before. So are you saying in that field is where you're gonna store RVs?
We could, where we could. And it's not just RVs, there's also trailers, because people bring their golf carts to a place like this, and they have no place to put their trailer, so they'll temporarily store. This is not for.
I know,
You cannot come here and rent this. You cannot, this isn't for the month. This is just for guests and.
Right, but I do have a
storage.
concern of the aesthetics of that next to Lake Iola, so those can look very ugly. Look at the
Next
one
to-
on DeKalb.
They're not next to Lake Oak.
So,
And that same buffer that we went over is the same buffer to. the
okay, so it's, how big is the buffer? I don't recall ever seeing that as
It's
storage.
currently approved, it's nothing new. Let me pull up the Lake Eola.
So it's just gonna be on grass? That you're gonna store them on grass?
Yes, all the storage places and all the RV resorts that I go to, that's how they're stored, yes. And again, it's not for the public, it's just for guests. You
Okay.
pay for that storage, and you don't leave your things there for very long.
I wanna be sure that that is screened from the road, because I don't think that'll look very nice.
Yes, so the quarter buffer is 48 feet wide, quarter tree buffer. Let me see the other specs on here, they're pretty small, but let me see if I can pull them up.
Yeah.
Do
Okay,
you-
my other question is the hotel stays. We heard someone say you could stay there for a year.
Can't, no, I read that condition.
Yeah, I want to go over that one more
There's no
time.
permanent occupancy. By state law, permanent occupancy is more than 6 months.
So someone can stay in the hotel for 6 months?
Somebody can stay in any hotel for 6 months, but people
Oh,
don't.
wow, I did not know that.
Right, that's state law. That's the difference between, and the state tracks that because it's a different tourist tax. If you're over 6 months, then you don't pay the tourist tax, and so the state has all these registers, so they make sure that nobody's staying. So everybody that's there is paying the tourist tax, and that's why the state tracks it so carefully.
You know, I know my brother just finished driving, for the last few years, he's been gone 7 months of the year in his RV. And there were times when I wanted to go visit him, especially when he was in Alaska. Sadly, my work got in the way, but when he was in really cool places and I was gonna fly in, there was no place for me to stay because they conveniently didn't provide for any of us to stay in their RV with them. And so I would have to go get a hotel, which means I'd have to go get a car and drive very far away from where he was camping. So it was a real problem. I think it's convenient to have a hotel. You know, some of these may be snowbirds who come down and they wanna have family visit them. And now they can stay instead of, when I did that with my parents, my kids had to camp outside in a tent in Maine, which they loved, but, so, okay, well, those are my comments.
All right, Commissioner Oakley.
I just want to clear up the hotel for you a little bit. It's an extended living hotel. So a person that's traveling from up north down south, and we have it around Dade City, around Lacoochee, down in Zephyr Hills. We have people come here and stay 6 months out of the year, and we know when they leave because our traffic gets better. But when they come down, it's very busy at that time. But this hotel is set up for extended living. There's I don't know what you call it, half kitchen or whatever in those rooms to where they can stay and not have to go out to eat or whatever. There's also going to be places to eat around that hotel area and that commercial area there. And also there's 1 or 2 restaurants, you know, in that. But then they also have a water feature with a lazy river and things of that nature in and around that area also. But, and they have wells for their water. I didn't understand, and maybe Barbara can tell me, I don't know what culvert they're talking about that would raise the water in one place and another. Is that from Middle Lake to Moody Lake, or Moody Lake and Moody? You have an east and west side of Moody Lake.
They said it was under Lake Idle. She said it was under Lake Idle Road, but
It was under what?
my engineer's saying he doesn't know about said culvert.
Is it the culvert? Is it covered over near Bayhead Road? North, just north of Bayhead, that runs from Middle Lake to Moody Lake. Okay, yeah. Okay, I got you, yeah.
Hang on. Name and address for the record?
Sure.
But, go ahead.
Afternoon, everyone. Joe Simino with WRA Engineering, 12363 Hampton Park Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, 33624. I believe we're talking about a culvert that connects Moody Lake to Middle Lake. It sounds like it's been reamed out. That's usually a good thing, that they're cleaning out culverts. But either way, it's irrelevant to our project. We were permitted back in October 2024 through both SwiftMud and Pasco for our master stormwater development. That's already been constructed. We're going to be moving on to a SwiftMud transfer to operation, which basically is a fancy word for project clearance, because the stormwater is all complete, and it was permitted to attenuate or hold back water to the regulated amount that we're discharging into the lake. So we've met all regulatory criteria for what we're sending downstream, both from a rate and a water quality treatment standpoint. But it's good to hear if they are cleaning out culverts downstream.
Right. Anything else, Commissioner Oakley? Okay. Also, this property is in tiers, so you find it, the tier down next to Moody Lake is low, then you got a middle tier, and then you got an upper tier, where each tier have different people on it, but you can see over the next tier going out across the interstate and the lake down there. I can only imagine how pretty the sights are out of that hotel if you're looking, because all this property lays on the Brooksville Ridge, and it's very high, rolling hills, and beautiful country out there. So, yeah.
I can attest, I've done many projects over the years in Pasco, and this is probably it's definitely the only project I have ever done this on, and will probably be the only project in Florida I ever do this again, and we actually have to have switchback roadways to get a car down the road, or to get a car down the hill.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty impressive topography.
And you'll find that RVs don't travel, like, they don't all line up and come to the RV park that one day. Because if they did, you wouldn't be able to get in and out. But they actually go in their own timing and move, and it's not a crowd of people that's coming. Now, if you have a amusement thing going on, or some musical or something going there, you'll find local people coming there, not necessarily those RVers will be coming. Those people will already be there. But this is a very nice project. But you find people all over the north coming to RV resort, and this one here allows for extended living, because not everybody has that, recreation vehicle that they travel in. So,
Commissioner Starkey.
When I look at my map here, Commissioner Oakley,
yeah,
I know this was in your family, a family member or something at one point. I don't see
belonged
any
to my
trees on
father
it.
at one point.
So was it a citrus?
Yeah, it's when we had citrus there.
Yeah, and now, and thank you to the applicant, there's gonna be a lot more trees on there than there was before.
Oh, he's gonna put more trees there.
And then when I look across the street now, I see where you see in this map, an old citrus, I guess that was an old citrus farm there. It looks like they have a agritourism project going. Let me see, I just saw what it was called. It's like a little farm. Let's see, here it is. Where'd it go? Well, it's a place where you can go. They have a maze and a sunflower field. Dade City Farms. So I think this will help that small business.
Oh, yeah.
And then that right across from where that hotel's going, so this is across from where the hotel's going to be, where those orange trees were, is Dade City Farms, and then just below that is an LLC called Quality Stump Removal. That's what I'm seeing here on the map, at the corner of Johnston and Lake Iola, and there's a bunch of commercial cars in there, so, seems like that, I'm in support of the project, and I think it'll be a good addition to the community.
I think it's be a very nice, it'd be a plus to the area. And it's a broader range of people coming there than just people around there. People that probably have gone to Zephyr Hills all their life might end up here at times, so.
All right, I've got a question. I want to put a map. We heard about the noise, and I think it's a reasonable concern, and I will say that I've had several times trying to get someone from the sheriff's office out to get a code enforcement on a noise ordinance. It's almost impossible. Some does.
So we still have a noise ordinance intact.
Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
So my concern is that if we do get some loud noise, to get someone out there to go check it, protect it, I think the burden should be on the hotel operator here, doing the music. What I did was, and I'm subject to letting the staff kind of figure out, work with the applicant and the neighbors, but my thing is I put a series of blue dots around the map that's out there, and I don't even know if that's the appropriate spot, but I think there should be some type of noise detection for the decibels on our ordinance around the area, so when the music's playing, that they can show what's going on out there.
Yeah, we're not gonna agree with that, that's totally unreasonable. I mean, when I was up here with Saddlebrook, nobody asked me for a noise ordinance, nobody asked me for a noise meter. They're a resort just like this is, and it's just not reasonable to have somebody that's gonna have music in connection with the resort, that's our new standard, is now we're gonna have to, have noise monitoring. That's a very expensive system to put together.
Well,
I have a comment.
I want to continue if you don't mind. I'll come back to you in a minute. Well, you may feel that way, but I'll listen to what staff maybe has to say and maybe the other board members as well. But if they're worried about the concerts, and I know it's difficult to get a sheriff's deputy out there, especially in a rural area like this, we are in the northeast rural area, I don't think it's too much, and maybe staff can comment to it a little bit, because I know we've never asked for it before, but we've never had this type of situation before either. So maybe staff could talk to it.
Well, with all due respect, we did Saddlebrook, and there were homes right next door.
Saddlebrook was a resort built in, and everything else came around it, with Saddlebrook being the home and all that coming in there. This is coming in after the fact, when these people have been established.
The applicant's not agreeable, so.
It's okay. So maybe staff could talk to it.
May I have a comment? So I also am an RVer and a camper, and normally when they're talking about live music, it's by the pool or it's outside a restaurant or something. It would be no different than, it's not
Whiskey
like,
Joe's?
it's not like a Sims Park where it's a full-on concert. It's live music, that's all. And that's, I think there's a difference between having something like an amphitheater where somebody's gonna jam out to just live music.
Let me bring the applicant back up.
And I've camped all over the country.
So if it's thought to be quiet music, what is the music setup going to be exactly?
What exactly is my music gonna be?
Yeah, like, how's it gonna be set up? Is it
Well,
be an
I thought
amphitheater? Is
when
it gonna be just a little stage where you get a 1 or 2 band plays out there? Or is it gonna be a 7-piece band? What's gonna go on?
I don't have the details of how many people are gonna be in our bands. I tried to write it to be clear that it can't be open to the public, because I figured that's where events come from. I tried to write it, and I purposely wrote it that way so that we're not talking about events. Even though everybody else keeps talking about events, we're not talking about events. And so that's why I added that condition. So it is what happens at resorts, music that's played at resorts outside, that's the type of entertainment that we're talking about.
All right, let me ask staff a question then. I want to find out who's familiar with the noise ordinance enforcement, and what do they think would happen if we did get a complaint from somebody?
Mr. Allen, I don't know, do we have anyone from code available that could speak on that? No, we do not. All right. I mean, I believe we have I don't want to speak offhand. There is a decibel rating, and there is a time period, 10 p.m. to, I think, could be 6 or 7 a.m., where you have to keep the decibels below a certain level. Are you suggesting equipment that would monitor that in real time and then report back? I mean, tantamount to like a red light camera, I guess,
Well-
for sound?
And again, I don't know the technicalities of having it, so having a noise device to go out there, where you would go, et cetera.
I mean, if we report out, we do have decibel meters where our code compliance officers can measure, you know, what the sound is at a certain point. Thank you, David.
Yeah, I'll provide some additional clarification, Mr. Cobble. Good afternoon, Chair and board members. Our noise component of the ordinance is sometimes challenging to enforce because we have to have a sustained level of decibel exceedance, and that has to be measured at the property line. And so in this particular case, it would have to be on the border or the edge of the project itself. And then, again, we would have to have a certain duration of time where that noise exceedance would be above the decibel level before we'd be able to issue a citation.
Right, so if you're gonna look at trying to do that along I-75, it'd be difficult. I don't know if I see maybe one, maybe two
What's that
places
sound?
across from there.
You have to silence that phone.
So again,
Yeah.
when I look at if you're gonna go monitor that, now you've gotta have someone probably either come in the resort, go on the edge, or go on the right of way outside the property to go monitor it. I just find it a difficult thing. So, and I don't know what it takes. What does it take to actually, is there such thing as an automated decibel reader that can be installed?
I don't know personally if there is. I do know, though, just kind of looking at the layout here with it being directly adjacent to Interstate 75, is that background noise is going to affect it too as well. And so the decibel readings will have to exceed the noise that you would have typically just with the traffic on the roadway.
Okay, so now from kind of what I did in the map, on the other side, you've got one house that's across from close to the entryway, another further
That's
up the
the
map.
stump removal
one there.
company.
Stump grinding?
That's the stump removal company.
So it's not a house.
It's got a bunch of commercial cars. in the back
Okay,
of
so
it.
it's not a house. What about further up?
That one, where all the citrus trees are, that's the Dade City Farm.
There's only a few homes right there
Yeah.
on Lake Isle Road, near the road, near this project. I'm sure that the big trees or the pines and all that got blown down during the storms and all, I'm sure that the owner putting this in would want to put some trees back up for a buffer himself, so I think that'd come back. There was actually a tree on that side where the lady was talking about earlier. There was a tree there, a pine tree, that I could not touch one of my workers' hands reaching all the way around it. That was a huge tree. I don't know if it's still there or not, but that was a historical pine tree, because it wasn't an oak tree, it was a pine tree, and it was huge, and it was right in that area. So I remember that from years ago. But there's not a lot of homes real close on Lake Isle, or there's some there, but I bet there's not over 7 or 8 that'd be close to this property. Now, there could be, because they got vacant land over there.
All right, so Mr. Allen, I'm gonna say to you that hopefully this doesn't become an issue. If it does, we'll need a team to go out there at certain points to monitor it. But we do have an ordinance in place, so we'll have to rely on that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So for items number P46, we'll go first. That'll be the land use. Do you have a motion?
Move approval?
Second.
And roll call vote.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Aye.
District 2, Commissioner Wakeman, excused. District 3, Commissioner Starkey.
Aye.
District 4, Commissioner Yeager.
Aye.
District 5, Chairman Mariano.
Aye. And now we go to item P58, this is the rezoning.
Move approval?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Blew that smart. I blew through that smart. Leave this one
Now
loose.
we go to item P55. Actually, P54 first.
P54. We have proof of publication in the February 18th, 2026 edition of the Tampa Bay Times, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site posting.
We're going to hear this item with P57.
All right, Amy Toll, Planning Development and Economic Growth. Item P54 is a development agreement in the name of Kenton DA Connected City, GPI Tampa LLC. It's a development agreement for the Kenton MPUD to design, permit, and construct roadway improvements in exchange for transportation development fee credits located in central Pasco County. There is a presentation for you from staff.
Good afternoon, William Vermillion, Planning Development, Economic Growth. I've got the clicker back. Barbara was worthy of the clicker for the pointer, so I guess I can have this back. This is PDE 260227. This is the Kenton Development Agreement. And, a little bit before we get started, the next item is the Aprile Development Agreement, followed by the Kenton Commercial MPUD. While all three are not separate or not represented by the same applicant, they do work in tandem whenever I talk about the roadway infrastructure that's being built within this portion of Connected City as it relates from overpass moving northward. Here's a location map within the county and the location map within Connected City in the community hub along existing Kenton Road is a dirt road. This is the segment of road for this particular MPUD that's obligated to the Kenton MPUD for construction. You can see to the south is Elam Road, there's the gap, and then highlighted in red is this applicable segment of Kenton MPUD, which moves north to Tyndall Road. That little gap that you see between the southernmost tip of the red improvements and Elam Road is the following DA that you'll hear. The Aprile DA is that missing segment there on this current map.
Well, question for you just before you go further. I see McKendree's not too far away from there. Will that connection that's highlighted in the light color in the top part, will that connect to Tyndall Road and then make its way to McKendree? Or will it do a connection? Is it existing?
Eventually McKendree and Tyndall, they intersect in the double branch MPUD when McKendree is fully built from its current terminus as it was constructed by Johns Hopkins. As it moves north into double branch, that's where you have several east-west roads that connect Tyndall Road, McKendree, and Kenton as they both parallel move northward to State Road 52.
So in the northernmost part of the map, is there a road existing now that's Tyndall that goes all the way down and connects out to McKendree now?
Currently, there is an alignment of Tyndall Road. That red is showing the new alignment of Tyndall Road. There is existing Tyndall Road currently today, but that east-west little piece that's red, that's the new Tyndall alignment.
So this new Tyndall alignment, when is that going to be connected to go over, or in the interim, does it connect right now down? Does it move down, over, and across?
It doesn't now. What needs to happen for that piece was previously given to the Tall Timbers MPUD. Tall Timbers was going to be constructing that next roadway infrastructure. So we need that little development piece in between the bus depot and that alignment of Tyndall to come in for that little last piece.
All right, thanks.
This is the modified cross-section for Kenton Road. The important thing here is the 12-foot multi-use paths being constructed on either side of the road. And as a catch-all, you'll hear me say this several times throughout today's meeting. This is one of 3 different projects that we have as a backstop for building the missing Kenton segment which connects Elam to Overpass. So this development agreement, the Kenton DA, the next DA, the Aprile also has this, as well as the following MPUD. So we have 3 different backstops in order to get this last segment of road built from Elam to Overpass. This comes to you with a recommendation of approval from Planning Commission, Planning Development, Economic Growth. I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about this?
I believe,
Mr. Roper.
I believe the new Kenton Road's going to help some flooding of that road as it was before. There was a lot of flooding, and I think that Kenton coming through is going to help with some of that area that comes out of King Lake and goes to the west.
Right, there have
Some
been.
folks there have had some real issues right there with flooding.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so I hear the applicant lady coming forward, because we are gonna have both these items before we vote. You wanna do this one now too?
Sir?
We're gonna have both items. Do you wanna do this one, finish with 54 as well?
Uh,
And then we're gonna bring back 57 before we vote on this one.
Well, I want to, if we can stay in order, that's great for me, because they're separate applications.
And then
different project.
we want both of them heard together, so we'll hear, if you wanna talk about 54, we'll talk about.
Yeah, I got to do them one at a time, just because they're a little bit different deals. So Clark Hobby, Hobby and Hobby, PA, 109 North Brush Street, Tampa, Florida, have been sworn. This project is the northernmost of my two projects and runs for the segment, picks up in the Aprilli MPUD where they stop, and it goes up to the Tyndall segment. And the credits that we're getting in this development agreement are consistent with the comprehensive plan, the financial plan for Connected City, and are already called out to be done and allowed in the MPUD that was approved, I think, about 3 years ago. So we're really, the only purpose of this DA is to create the construction requirements that the county has in any DA to make sure we do what we need to do on the construction side to get the credits themselves. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. We have met with the neighbors a number of times. We've tried to work through any drainage concerns they may have, and we've also, just so the commission's aware, you may recall when the MPUD came through, the way the roadway is designed going north, it's all on our property. And the reason we did that was to, A, not cut off the neighbors who are using the existing dirt road to the east of us as you get up by King Lake and the lots you can see on the northern part. But then also it created a bigger setback for our neighbors from where our development activity is. And my recollection is that the closest house is like 275 feet away from where the road's going to be built, so it's a good long ways.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Okay.
I, just, what is the profile of the road? I don't think I have it here. Looking, sorry.
Yeah, they can go back and Will can take you through it. And by the way, on this one, Joe Semino is my engineer on this one, and he can go through that with you if you have any technical questions. There you go. But Commissioner, I think I may be able to answer your question. So this had originally in the plans for Connected City, it had bike lanes, on the road, next to the road. And so staff asked us, starting about a year ago, to take those out and to upsize the multi-use pass on either side. And so we ended up with two 12-foot multi-use pass and got rid of the bike lanes.
Okay, and that 22 feet, what is that on either side? I never understood why we preserve so much.
I don't know. I'm either going to have
You're gonna have to like
staff
have
or
an
Joe
electric bike
answer if we
to
get into
across
that.
road.
I don't know if it's clear areas, or Joe, do you want to answer?
I know it was done before all y'all were here, but the 22 feet between the road and the trail?
I couldn't, I don't have it in front of me, so I couldn't tell
I
you
mean, it's
what.
gonna be beautiful, but you wouldn't call that necessarily really walkable, so.
Is that a two-lane?
I assume
is
it's
that a
probably for
two-lane road right
utilities.
now?
We do have to keep in mind, I think,
I don't think that doesn't mean the trail can't meander,
for the
though.
tube transit.
The trail would be best to meander.
I think.
And
Commissioner,
shade trees.
You may be also looking at, we're building 2 initially, but allowing for the transition to 4, and that may be some of the area that you're looking at.
No, there's 11 foot, 11 foot, 11 foot, 11 foot.
Or is that got the
I think
ultimate up there?
that's
Yeah, it does
just
have-
grass on either side. It's just the very, very wide corridors.
Yeah.
Which lends to high speed unless we've got some traffic calming going on. And you gotta run across that road quick.
Yeah, understood. Well, if you all ever decide to change the cross-section to make them smaller in general throughout Connected City, I don't think we have a problem with it, but it's the general width's in the comp plan, and so that's what we're following.
Is this going all the way from Elam to,
It's going from Elam that goes all the way up, and we'll
To
go
Tyndall?
to Tyndall.
Okay.
We're already having issues with utility providers playing nicely in our rights of way. I don't know that we really want to narrow them
Yeah, we
much
may
more.
not want to take it any smaller, but
I
that,
wouldn't be- I
I'll
wouldn't be
just point
smaller,
out,
'cause
that's,
that area's
There's
growing.
10
that's the width that's in the
utility
comp
easements
plan.
right
is
there.
my
Yeah.
point.
There's a 10-foot utility easement besides the 22-foot
Okay, but it,
on the outsides of the trails. I'm just saying, it's,
We're just playing the cards we're dealt with, Commissioner,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
in the comp
separate-
plan right now.
I've seen roads like this in Texas,
Yeah, separate comp plan. Okay, all right.
when they did cattle drives down the road.
All right, so now we'll hear a presentation on 57. I got this right, Amy, or no?
You're gonna,
Oh, where are we? Did we take public
Yeah,
comment?
We're gonna.
No, I didn't think so.
Public comment first, though, if Commissioner's right.
Skip over? Okay. All right, so P54, public comment.
And actually, if you can put the PowerPoint up, that'd be great. It's really for 55. I didn't realize this was the northern portion of it. Michael Torek, 9152 Kenton Road. Wanted to speak on 55, but it's going to apply to this. As far as the 22-foot there, residents were told that this will be, how do we go forward? Oh, there it is. Thank you. Residents were told that this is going to eventually be the 4 lanes, so 2 lanes in each direction, and there was space being left there so that it could easily be expanded. This is going to be the main thoroughfare between Epperson and Marauda. There's going to be a significant amount, there we go. All right. So this is going to be the main thoroughfare between Epperson and Marauda, between the 2 lagoons. So it's going to be more than just the approved developments of Priel and then Kenton.
Yeah.
Okay? This is actually part of the traffic study from P57, so this is the most current traffic study. And I wanted to point it out for 55, but it's going to apply to this. With the existing projects that are already approved, peak hours, there's going to be 1,355 cars per hour traveling this road. In the PM, there's going to be almost 1,500 cars traveling this road. So the residents, you can't build this paved road fast enough for safety reasons. However, we would really like to encourage you to get right on the board or right out of the gates, making this 2 lanes of travel in each direction, because there's going to be a tremendous amount of vehicle flow. There's no busing in here. These new developments, it's not just getting to work, it's going to be getting your kids to school, because all the schools were moved out to Curly Road, but it's within the 2 miles. So it's too far to take golf carts and alternative transportation to get the kids to school. Everybody's in a vehicle, in and out continuously. With this number of cars, if it's a 2-lane road, cars are going to stack up quickly at those intersections. The other thing from the resident side is if the existing Kenton Road gets renamed, we'd like to have some input on that, if it changes from Kenton Road. But as far as the road goes, there's no objection from the current residents, because this is going to make everything a lot safer. We'd love to see 4 lanes, but other than that, it's all safety concerns. And the paths for the current residents and the future residents is going to make a huge improvement for the safety of the current and the future residents.
Mr. Poteric, just for the record, would you acknowledge that you were sworn?
I was.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other public comment to this item? Anyone online?
No one online.
Okay, all right, go to the next item,
P57.
P57, correct?
We have proof of publication in the Tampa Bay Times, January 21st, 2026, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings for the Board of County Commissioner meeting of March 10th, where it was continued to today.
Amy Toll, Planning Development and Economic Growth. P57 is a zoning amendment in the name of Kenton Road Commercial MPUD, Kenton Road Commercial LLC. It's a rezoning request from AC Agricultural to MPUD Master Plan Unit Development District to allow for the development of 110,000 square feet of non-residential entitlements and 120-room hotel and associated infrastructure, located in northeast Pasco County at the northwest corner of the intersection of Kenton Road and Elam Road in the Community Hub Special Planning Area of Connected City on approximately 9.43 acres, and staff's available for a presentation.
Any questions for, any questions for staff?
Could you all, it seems odd that it's a rezoning matter and you haven't acted on those two development agreements yet, or were you
We're
intending
gonna
on?
one of development agreements, yes.
Okay, did we, okay.
We're gonna come back to
We're
it.
confused about.
I'm confused, Commissioner. I think Barbara and I are confused. So we got two DAs that are unrelated to another rezoning. I don't understand, why are we not voting on the DAs?
We are going to, but staff wanted to have both of them presented to us, so we're gonna listen to both of them.
Both
I'm
of the
gonna come back.
DAs?
Yes.
Oh, so just, yeah, my two DAs. Okay. I was getting confused. I
And
think
why are we
Barbara and I
taking
were,
up
we
the
thought you wanted to hear this other rezoning, which doesn't
So
make any sense.
staff wanted to have 54 and 57, right?
54, 55.
Okay, so 54 and 55.
I think that's what got us confused. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
I was wondering why I was doing.
As to P55,
So I got it mixed up, sorry about that. All right, so now let's go to 55.
as to P55, we have proof of publication in this February 18th, 2026 edition of the Tampa Bay Times, supplemented by an affidavit of certified mailings and site postings.
William Vermillion, Planning Development Economic Growth. This is the Aprile DA in Connected City. The location and its approximate location in Connected City within the community hub. This is for the roadway segment just south that wasn't highlighted in red, in between the previous DA's Kenton segment and Elam Road. It's the same exact typical section. This development agreement is just with the Aprile DA. The other one was with the Kenton MPUD. Here's the cross-section, same as the previous DA. And again, this is the second of three backstops for the missing segment of Kenton Road in between Overpass and Elam. And it also comes to the board with a recommendation of approval from both the Planning Commission and Planning Development Economic Growth Department. I'm available for any additional questions.
Any questions for staff on P55? Mr. Starkey?
Well, I have a question on Elam. Can I ask?
Sure.
We are gonna go back to it, so.
Okay, my question's about Elam.
Okay.
If you want to, I
So
can wait.
we'll go back to that next. All right, so any question on P55? Okay, applicant want to come forward?
Commissioners Clark, Hobby again. The only thing I would say, it's basically the same setup as the previous one. You already actually approved the DA for this one. The only reason we had to come back to you is it had a construction deadline that we couldn't meet. And when we came in there, then we changed the cross-section. But it's the same thing, continuing the same cross-section down to Elam.
Okay. All right, with that said, is any more public comment on P50? Is there any public comment on P55?
Michael Poltoric, address of record. I have been sworn in. I just want to get on the record here, the volume of traffic that is going to occur with the existing approved developments. And nope, the other one, the one that we started out with. That one will be fun, though. Okay, so these were the original volume with signalization charts that in the prior meetings I did put in record. And what I really, really, really need you to hear me on this is not only should this be 4 lanes right out of the gates, but with the existing, this is background peak for P57. There is going to be, without P57, almost 1,700 vehicles traveling east-west across this intersection of Kenton and Elam and there's going to be 1,355 projected vehicles. This is in 1 peak hour, AM. In the afternoon, come on, there we go. There's going to be almost 1,500 vehicles and over 1,700 meeting at this intersection for safety reasons. There has got to be signalization at this intersection. It's going to go straight through with 4 directions of travel.
Which intersection are you referring to?
So,
Kenton and Elam? Are those traffic circles? Are those traffic circles?
There was a traffic circle up at.
where Kenton Road comes down,
They're not traffic circles.
the east-west road is Elam, there's a bubble
Yeah.
there with a whole bunch of blue numbers.
Yeah.
That's the intersection that we're talking about. That is also the intersection south from there where the Kenton extension will get onto Overpass Road. This is an incredible amount of traffic, and especially with 2 lanes of traffic, 1,355 vehicles in 1 hour trying to turn onto Elam Road is going to be beyond dangerous. Please consider making this 4 lanes, and please, please get us signalization right out of the gate so we don't get our kids, teenage drivers, killed trying to get to the high school. That's really it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak to item P55? Okay. Could I have staff come up first and address the traffic concerns, what the thoughts are on the plans to either signalize or increase the performance?
Absolutely. So if you take that graphic back up there from the timing and phasing, I think
Comments.
an important piece to note when you're looking at volumes that
After
move
we
east to
finish
west.
your-
I'm out of time. As you, could I get it back? So you look at that 1,600 number there for that peak hour here. That number's drastically going to decrease whenever we talk about the next project, which is constructing Kenton down to Overpass, alleviating that east to west segment there that currently shows 1,700. Additionally, back of Napkin, you're looking at a much larger capacity on Elam that exists as a 2-lane than that 1,600 number, showing that it's very sufficient for the 1,600 number, which again is going to drop whenever we punch Kenton down to Overpass.
Okay.
So
And two signals as well.
Commissioner Starkey?
my beef,
Yep. Oh,
and the attorney says bring it up after, because it doesn't have anything to do with this DA, but I am going to bring it up. Sorry. There's no multi-use trail on Elam, and it's a brand-new road. It's got 5-foot sidewalks on both sides, and I'm just wondering, how did that happen? I mean, if you're wanting to take a bike to work or a golf cart to get around these communities, you got a 5-foot sidewalk on both sides on a brand-new road? We don't do that here. So how did that get approved? I'm not happy about that. I saw it when I was driving through there last year, and I couldn't believe it.
What's already done?
It's already done, so we're gonna have to go in there and fix it, which is ridiculous. Sorry.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant?
But
The applicant will
anything else
respond.
on Elam, any extension on Elam or whatever, they have to do it right, and there has to be a multi-use trail on one of the sides, so people can get around, not in a car, safely.
All right, so the applicant doesn't have anything to add to that, so we're going to go back to item 54. We have a motion.
Move to approve.
Mr. Chairman, on this particular item, there was an amended document, I believe, presented to board here at the meeting. We just asked that the approval be contingent on final review by finance and the clerk's office.
54, 55?
54.
Okay.
I made a motion to approve.
A motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I noted that with the changes the clerk made, or recommendations. Now, item P55, to the board. Do a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Now, item P56. P
56 is already.
57 is what you got left.
57.
57. 57, I believe we already announced the proof of publication, but we will again confirm it was Tampa Bay Times, January 21st, 2026, supplemented by affidavit of certified mailings and site postings for the March 10th, 2026 meeting, where it was continued to today.
Good afternoon, William Vermillion, Planning, Development, Economic Growth. Before I get started, I wanted to state on the record about Elam Road. I was doing a double check. The reason that the sidewalks exist there was the 70AA cross-section in Connected City contemplates only 2 5-foot sidewalks and then the path on the internal. So when the road was built, it used the adopted typical section. However, now that we've amended the LDC when we require the multi-use paths, it is something that the county could upgrade at a future time.
Thank you.
This is PDE 267872. This is a rezoning request from AC Agricultural to MPUD Master Plan Unit Development to allow for the maximum development potential of 110,000 square feet of non-residential entitlements and 120 hotel rooms. This is at the northwest corner of the intersection of Kenton and Elam Road. Here's the location map, right around those other two DAs just to the south. Located within the Community Hub SPA of Connected City, there at the intersection. Here's an aerial showing the subject site, the current zoning map reflecting agricultural, and the future land use, in this case being that Connected City SPA. Here is the master plan for the MPUD. You can see here that the MPUD is divided up into 3 different parcels, 3 different trapezoids, area A, B, and C, of which each area has its own permitted use and its own building orientation standards. So the community hub in Connected City, one of the things that the community hub strives to do, as both the board and planning staff are working through tall timbers with where should a park go, the community hub also is meant to serve mixed-use areas serving as neighborhood centers. So when staff and the applicant worked on this proposal, its criteria here being at the intersection of Elam and the Kenton Vision Road as we build that segment south, it seemed like a prime location for a mixed-use area serving as a neighborhood center. And that's what PD and the applicant tried to accomplish here within these 3 different areas by having their own development standards and their own permitted uses. To go over a little bit of what these conditions of approval strive to complete, we used some neighborhood hubs, much like Lexington or Bexley, where non-residential uses such as retail and commercial were oriented around centralized third places, which is what we did here in Area B and Area C. These parcels, or these end users, rather, in areas B and C here on the master plan, they're just the master plan. Thank you. So in area B and C, which is area C being the furthest away from the intersection, that's where a vertically integrated self-storage facility would be allowed. And then as we move towards the intersection and we try to create that mix of uses there along the gathering space between parcels B and C, where you see the C1 neighborhood commercial and the hotel, those parcels and their buildings all are required to be oriented along the social gathering space and to frame this intersection, as well as provide pedestrian connections to the existing pedestrian facilities along Elam and also as they build the road on Kenton moving south to Overpass.
Are we talking about something future on Elam, or you're talking about the 5-foot sidewalk?
In the interim, they'd be connecting to the 5-foot sidewalk until the county can.
Do we have the right-of-way to do a multi-use path there already, or do we need to get it from this project? Because we have to put a multi-use
We did already get right-of-way. We actually got right-of-way from Aprile, the previous DA that was just approved item 55. That actually, oddly enough, along this frontage of Elam, took care of the right-of-way dedication I'd have to see an actual map, but it would, to see how much space we had with the 5-foot existing. And the county engineer is here as well, that he can talk about the retrofitting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to go into the one variation request here from table 522-9R5. This is to, oh, yeah. Okay, let me back up from the variation request and talk about the signalization here. This is the Missing Kitten road segment that is proposed to be built with 2 signals. They're both at Elam and then one at Overpass.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
now?
Mr. Stark.
Why are we not doing traffic circles in this area? Why, everywhere else we're doing traffic circles to keep traffic moving. Is there some reason we're not doing traffic circles here?
In this particular case, in Connected City, a traffic circle wasn't contemplated. It was contemplated to be signalized.
I know, but now we're doing traffic signals, so are we contemplating upgrading? Did I say that right?
Now we're doing traffic.
Yeah, yeah.
Good afternoon. David Allen, I didn't introduce myself earlier, sorry about that. Assistant County Administrator, Development Services. In these 2 specific locations, we're really site restricted in terms of being able to do traffic circles, just because the footprint of that type of intersection takes up more space, and kind of the configuration that we have for both the current and future layout doesn't provide enough room for a traffic circle in those 2 locations.
Well, I hope wherever we can, we contemplate traffic circles instead of traffic lights, which are safer and better to keep traffic moving.
Certainly. I will now jump back to the variation request from that table. This is a variation request to reduce the parking ratio for the self-storage facility. The Connected City Land Development Code actually requires a higher number of parking spots for self-storage facilities than the regular Land Development Code. So the variation here is to park the self-storage facility consistent with the Land Development Code in lieu of the Connected City Land Development Code.
Why would we be changing that?
So I think that the Connected City LDC vastly overparks self-storage facilities, which don't generally use a large parking lot. And that's shown in the regular Land Development Code, which has a different parking ratio. So we're just going with the regular Land Development Code in this
I'm
case to
fine
park.
with that.
Too. You'll get more green space too.
Yeah, you don't, people don't, they only park when they have to run in the office and get a new key or something. Yeah.
Thank you.
With that, this comes with a recommendation of approval from both the Planning Commission and Planning Development Economic Growth. I'm here for any questions.
Okay, I just need to know about,
Mr. Stark.
I just need to know about the land for the multi-use trail, to make sure that we don't, that we have the ability to expand that sidewalk. And if that's a county engineer or someone, that's important to the community.
Oh, here he comes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Nick Uran, County Engineer. The short answer is yes, we have enough space within a 70-foot right-of-way to construct multi-use pathways or trails. The obstacle we're going to have to overcome is that we have used the space to construct the typical section adopted in Connected City, which puts 6-foot multi-purpose lanes adjacent to the vehicular lanes on the roadway.
And who's going to use those? Nobody.
Well, the board adopted those typical sections, and the development community constructed them consistent with the plan for that area. We are working aggressively to change those so that we don't construct additional facilities like this in the future, because we recognize your input as well as other members of the community saying that they would rather see that space allocated to the trail. It's rather expensive to retrofit a constructed corridor to move the space from the area between the curbs to the area outside the curbs.
So leaving the 6-foot lane on the pavement, is there room to expand the sidewalk on the north side?
We can certainly explore that.
Well, I'm not gonna
There-
vote
there-
for it if I
there's-
can't do
So
it.
there's room within the 70-foot. What you lose is the space in between the edge of the back of the curb and the front of the sidewalk that you had allocated toward landscaping. So something's got to give. There will be a trade-off. If we want a wider pathway, we will have to either move the curb and gutter inward toward the center of the road, very expensive, or give up on green space.
So,
will-
in Connected City, were we not I mean, this was this high-tech community where people got around on golf carts. So what happened to that concept on Elam Road?
So the concept that was put forward and endorsed by the board was to construct what are called 6-foot multi-purpose lanes within the curb area.
So are those for golf carts?
They are for golf
So
carts.
then
and
the
bicycles.
traffic cannot be faster than 35 miles an hour?
So then traffic is supposed to be traveling slower.
So
on
that's what we have on Elam? That's what's planned? So that's gonna be a golf cart lane on Elam?
Yes, with the caveat that if you drive Elam, you will notice that the golf cart lanes get merged into the vehicular lanes.
Oh, good planning.
At various locations along the
Thank you,
corridor.
Margaret.
Because to minimize the conflict at the crossing streets. It's a design that leaves some things to be desired.
Well, that's the plan. So the golf carts are allowed in the road and we have to keep the traffic
For that area.
35 miles an hour, but I still need a wider sidewalk on one of the sides.
So we have the space to build a wider sidewalk on the north side or the south side at the expense of reducing the green area.
Okay. Great.
So that means you want to reduce the green area?
Yeah, I mean, there's no other choice. You have to keep the kids safe on their bikes and stuff. You can't pass you cannot pass safely on a 5-foot sidewalk. Another one. One of you is gonna go off the sidewalk. And then, yeah, so that's why they make them wider now.
All right, and to the applicant.
Barbara Wilhite, 6327 Grand Boulevard. I have a PowerPoint, and Will got me banned from the clicker, I guess.
Hey, it was taken from him, too.
We'll be doing clicker training
I
on
guess
this
so.
third
Well, I'm
Thursday.
not very good at it, so I definitely could understand why you guys take it away from me. A lot of this context, this is like the third time you've heard about this area. I have to say, there's a lot of information that we usually don't have when we come forward with some of our rezonings. The intersection here, Kent and Elam, a natural commercial location. We're at the southern edge of the community hub. As you've heard, Kenton Road's 142-foot right-of-way, ultimate 4-lane. Elam 70-foot, ultimate is 2 lanes. Obviously, this area is changing. That's why you've had all these DAs. I can tell you that my client is the segment between Elam and Overpass and the 2 signals. REPA is going to do that project with the county. We have a development agreement pending as we speak here. We spent a lot of time placemaking here. We do have the areas, keep up with myself here, A, B, and C. Starting closest to the intersection is our area C. Next slide. I just got to figure out how to do that myself. So for area C, we reserve this for commercial retail uses only. Oh my goodness, look at that. Now I'm going to mess it up really bad. So we reserve those areas for commercial retail only. We prohibited uses, and these are significant uses when you're talking about placemaking and in this location in the community, the southern portion of the community hub. No standalone drive-throughs. That's no Wendy's, no McDonald's, no standalone drive-throughs.
Awesome. No fast
No
food.
convenience gas.
Is there a misspelling on that? Let's
there?
just say entertainment instead of entertainment?
No convenience. All the things that the client wanted are in this prohibited list. No, I'm kidding. Or would have wanted, but we didn't start there. So no convenience gas, no car wash, no vehicle sales, no vehicle garages. That would be no auto zones, no the things we see, right? The tire places and the like. We limited to restaurants, coffee shops, cafe, bars, and entertainment for the first 2 years. So those are the only uses that can go in there. The county wanted to really try to charge this area to be able to have these uses. So the client agreed to that commitment. Another thing that we talked about at Planning Commission was really just trying to talk about this social gathering area. How does it really become a social gathering area? Where we added a requirement that now we have to have a property owners association, and it'll be maintained and owned by the property owners association, so that all the different restaurants and the like can use that area, and so can the public come, you know, hopefully in their golf carts or their bike, and they can sit and have a coffee in the morning. You heard about building orientations, not only in Area C, which is closest to the intersection, but Area B, both buildings within those areas orient to a social gathering area. I was asked at Planning Commission, why don't you have an exhibit? Well, because we don't have our users yet, and I never wanted to show you something that I don't know I'm going to do. So we spent painstaking time trying to write how we're going to do these things. The social gathering area, again, talked about who maintains that. Buildings in Area B and C are required to orient to that area. We even go down to where you can park, where you can have parking, where you can have driving, just to make sure, again, you're framing and making an actual social gathering area.
No.
Down to number B, it's reserved for commercial, retail, office, or hotel use only. Again, depending on which of those users you have, how the parking and driving can happen in relation to the social gathering area. The same commitment in Area B, that any commercial retail uses in that area for 2 years have to be, you know, restaurants, coffee shops, cafe, bars, entertainment.
So what happens after 2 years?
Yeah, what does that mean?
After 2 years, we flipped back to not doing this competently. But there's the prohibited list. You can have other things other than, so you could have a nail shop, you can have, anything that's not prohibited, you can have on a commercial retail side.
When does the 2-year clicker start?
Starts from, if you approve today, starts from today. So then we went to Area A. Area A, see why they banned me?
I would.
We looked at Area A. That's the area we're allowed to have the self-storage use. No more than 3 acres. First floor retail is required, 5,000 square feet. And our facades are required to carry architectural or landscaping features to add visual interest. So it's going to be how it looks, first floor retail. The size is restricted, so the storage will be above retail. And that is the presentation.
Mr. Starkey?
When will this Kenton Road be built? I'm a little...
I know the client has already kicked off the design. We have working on our DA with the county, so as quickly as we can get the DA approved.
So I'm
We'll
a little
start.
concerned that it's, the 2 years would start before the road's there, so is that, what is that? It's kind of ambiguous for me. And I feel that maybe we need more time. Is it 2 years after Kenton Road is open? But you may not even start Kenton Road in 2 years, like 2 years. You got to get your permits, all those things, right? And then the opportunity will be gone to have something very good, that's really good for the neighborhood. So, I don't know. I don't think it should start from today. What are your all's thoughts?
I'm going to say I think it's a legit concern, so having it known when it's coming. I think we're doing well to kind of work with that storage thing, to have the retail underneath it to make it work, to help the site become more viable. But I think if you stretched out that time to when the road's built and put the 2 years in.
You have public comments, so let me talk to my client in the meantime.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, I appreciate sometimes land sits forever. It's not fair to the developer.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the Saddlebrook property.
All right, so now we're going to...
2 years and none.
Now we're going to go to public comment. Would like to come forward? You're getting 9 minutes today.
This is why I'm here. And I did ask for extended
And
time.
I ate all my
so-
Smarties. I'm going to have to eat his Smarties.
You got a click?
You want your Smarties? I'll give you my chocolate for your Smarties. They're a lot less.
Park guy reporting for duty. Michael Poltorek, address on record, yes, I am under oath. Do you want this in your neighborhood? And I mean it. We're talking about a 5-story hotel and a 3-story storage unit in the middle of our residential community hub. This is unacceptable. I am not opposed to growth. I'm not opposed to things being built. This is silliness. This is going to be in the middle of Epperson and April and Kenton. I want to talk about the comp plan for a minute.
Yeah.
When you go into the comp plan, the LDC, Connected City, even though staff, Director Pitos has repeatedly on record said that the comp plan is aspirational, and the term transitional has been used repeatedly, it does not exist in the comp plan, neither of them. Why is that important? Because in your comp plan, it says adherence to the Connected City Comprehensive Plan policies, all CC MPUD development applications shall be consistent with the intent and policies of the Connected City Comp Plan. That's very important because it states in 522.9, the big book that was written for the Connected City, what the purpose and intent is. And there's a legal definition there, the word shall. The word shall means mandatory. It is mandatory to follow the purpose and intent. Now, while the greater Connected City SPA allows for all use types, although some are prohibited, technically an international airport didn't get prohibited, just for the record, it says each spa zone has a specific character that describes the optimal density, intensity, and predominant uses. This is a map of the greater spa zones. The community hub is orange. South of it is blue. That's the South Innovation Area. To the north is the Green Innovation Area. To the purple on the left or the west, that's the business district, and the yellow is the urban area. The purpose and intent of the community hub. This is it right here, straight from the book. I zoomed in a little bit. The intent of this zone is to create a unique centralized education, schools have been moved out though, recreation and open space system that's well connected to each of the other zones and serves and complements the city, Connected City development as a whole. The community hub zone shall be characterized by a mix of residential, educational, recreational, civic, culture, and resort type uses. The lagoons are the resort type uses. If you want to ask where storage units and hotels go, the very same comp plan tells us the north and south innovation zones are for office, medical, hotel, and retail. I can lump self-storage units into that definition of what's supposed to be there. That definition does not fit inside of the community hub. And nobody can get up here and try to explain that it's a transitional zone because it's bordered on all 4 sides by residential, and the comp plan is not aspirational. We have to follow this. Storage units are not part of the community hub purpose and intent. Back to the map so you can see it. The orange, the community hub, is meant to be residential and parks. Staff brought up the parks, so I'll jump right in. This is the VOPH Super Park. It's actually 17 minutes by car to get from the community hub to the park, and it's been whittled down to 3 softball fields, so it's not going to work. That is your 80 acres in the middle of the Connected City. The 40 acres right there could, if you wanted to, be turned into this. This fits on 40 acres right there, and I can show you how Pinellas is using a park just like this to make money. They bring revenue in, they bring in tourists, and beyond that, it pays for itself. This could be sitting right on your property right now. But let's jump back into this. This is what we're talking about. That does not meet the purpose or intent of the Connected City nor the comp plan. Florida Statutes 163 says, no development may be approved unless it is consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan. Why is it important? Let me give you some court cases. Machado versus Musgrove says it will be consistent. Pinecrest versus Shadell, they actually had to demolish an existing apartment complex because it violated the comp plan. Imhoff and Walton, this is from 2021, heard by the district court. specifically says, development orders must comply with the entire comprehensive plan. This does not belong in our residential area, and I don't think you would approve this in any of your neighborhoods and your developments. Starkey Ranch is a perfect example.
Now, don't do that.
This would not be put there. This has to be voted no. Thank you.
Look at that, no trees.
Anyone else to speak to item P57?
No one else has signed.
I see Nancy Hazelwood coming up.
Nancy Hazelwood, 34110 Nice Place. I agree with Mike completely. Why have we got a planning department and a comprehensive plan if we don't follow it? Thank you.
Barbara Wilhite again for the applicant. So there's a table that he didn't show you. Table CC4-2, development pattern for the spa zones. It talks about predominant uses. And yes, he read to you predominant uses. And it talks about prohibited uses. What's prohibited? No commercial on that list. Prohibited is industrial. It talks about mixed-use areas, which mixed-use areas serving as neighborhood centers. That's what we're doing here. This is commercial for the area. We made sure we designed it for the area. So it is not against the community hub. We're on the southern edge of the community hub. We're not on the lake. We're not in the middle. We're on the edge. So we have followed the comprehensive plan, and we have followed the connected city requirements. To answer the question, I did talk to my client back there, and he said we can change the 2 years to 3 years. Like I said, as soon as they approve our development agreement, they're going to start construction. They're already started the design process even without the development agreement in place, just to try to get it going, so.
I want to show a picture of a storage facility. I'm going to send it. Barbara, I've shown it to you before. Let's see if I can drop a pin on it. It's in Sarasota. I don't know how to get in there more. Let's see.
So we're looking at the South Innovation Zone?
Pardon me?
We're out looking at the South Innovation Zone?
We're community hub zone. We're on the south side of it. South Innovation Zone is to our south. You can see common uses, residential and mixed uses shall be provided in all zones. So it's certainly not a zone where you're not supposed to have commercial uses.
Can we go back to the map that shows
Gina, I sent
exactly
it
where it's
to you.
located? With the zoom in, not a star, but the zoom in?
You want to see the different zones?
I want to see the property, like an aerial, to show where it is exactly. Okay. And the part of the road that we're looking at, the part of the agreement is to take it all the way down from Elam Road to
overpass.
Overpass.
Correct. And then the signalization of both of those intersections.
Let's go back to the previous one. The map that showed the zones, please.
You want to see the different zones, yeah. Looks like she's pulling it up there.
Look like a double screen.
It's got the different colors on it. It's got like purple and blue and that's it, yeah. That's what you're looking for, Commissioner.
And if you could just go back to the regular slide that just listed all the uses, please.
Did you want the table, Commissioner?
The other table, sorry.
The table, yeah, the table, yeah.
Would a hotel be considered something that supports a recreational use?
Would a hotel be considered a recreational use?
Would it, no, it says mix of uses that support recreational uses. Would a hotel be considered
Oh, absolutely.
something
Absolutely.
in the storage center?
You have to remember that you have John Hopkins about a half mile away.
So would the storage qualify as a mixed use area serving neighborhood centers?
Yes, well, you gotta remember, your storage is vertical as you want it. You want the retail on the first floor, so it's not like it's taking up land.
Mhm.
That's why the county, you all wanted to see the retail on the first, so that storage is something you need, but it's not taking up property. So if you don't do it here, then it takes up property somewhere else. So that's why we put the retail on the first floor.
All right, back to after 3 years, what would then potentially happen to the property?
I think that's an addition to the storage.
Yes,
No, yeah, no, it is.
It is,
I'm just
yes.
trying, that's
Yeah,
another thing that, as you brought up.
Yeah,
we-
Area A is gonna be storage and retail.
that-
Retail first floor, 5,500 square feet. And then A and B can be retail, office, or hotel. C, going A, B, C. C is just retail. So the reservation, which for now for 3 years, says any of the retail in this project, other than the first floor retail, would be limited to drinking or eating for 3 years. And then after that, it can go to other uses, whether it be hair shop, nail shop, still can be restaurants, still can be
Well, it could be
coffee
restaurants
shop.
from the beginning,
Can
right?
always be restaurants and coffee shops and the like. It's just a reservation saying we're gonna go after those uses for 3 years. And after 3 years, you couldn't get, we need to develop the property. So that was where we came up with the limiting it to try to get those uses.
Commissioners, I sent Gina 2 photos. Can you show the first one and then the second one, because it'll probably take a second. This is, I've showed you this development before. This is Lakewood Ranch, kind of, outside of Lakewood Ranch. It's called Fruitville Commons. That's multifamily on the right side, and that's a storage unit building there. And can you show the next picture? I'm sorry, the Google map, the Google car did not go down that road. Is that the second one or the first one? Yes, show the second one. It's pretty, yeah, so that's one that has a vertical mixed use. That's pretty nice looking. If we can, get something like that,
I was gonna
I
say-
think that's a lot better.
No, and you bring up a good point. So how can we incorporate that
I don't know, I have to ask staff.
into this so it looks like?
This is a company called Public Storage.
You remember, we have to put retail 5,500 square feet on the first floor.
No, and I get that, and that looks
B, for
good.
the facades, the county gets to approve the facades.
County what?
The county gets to approve what our facade looks like by reason of the condition we agreed to.
Because I think the orange building would be a little stark,
Yeah.
right?
They get to approve the facade, so,
So take a picture of that.
yes, there you go.
There you go.
Staple it to the.
Have Barbara sign off on it.
Yes, that's fine.
But I mean, that does look much better.
Yes, it does. And that's why wrote into the conditions that they wanted to approve our facades.
So the same would go even with, let's say, after 3 years, whatever you're gonna put it there, we'd be able to look at, do the same.
Yeah, so after 3 years, we could have different tenants for our retail, but we still have to orient our buildings and restrictions on where parking can be and where drive aisles can be, so we have a social gathering area. It just allows us to have some other tenants. If it's just not working that we're able to attract all the drinking and eating, then we need to be able to have some other tenants in there.
And as long as it can, if it will have, keep the look,
Yes.
like something like this, I mean, how do we have the control over that?
Well, we can add that we have to have a common color palette. We can add some architectural standards to make sure that we're consistent amongst all of our buildings.
You know, like a Champions Gate, you drive down there, you
Yes.
come through, and there's some regular retail, but it doesn't look like they're regular retail, then it looks good.
See if my client's agreeable.
If you're ever in Sarasota, you should pull out and drive through this very well-designed place. It has a great furniture store that none of us can afford to shop in. It's the best furniture store in Florida.
Is that
It's
where you go?
crazy.
Right, that's a challenge.
Is that where she shops?
Who? Not me.
If she says that, I know I'm not going there.
I'm just warning you. You're just going to look.
That's part of the third DRI, the Lakewood Ranches.
We can add a requirement for common
That's
architectural and
Sarasota
color scheme. We have some from another project, and so I can write language that adds that as a requirement of this. So yes, Commissioner, I agree with you. I was driving from Champions Gate, and I said, this looks great. Why does it look great? Because it's all complements each other, so. And it has all different uses, but it's very complementary. Same thing at Promenade, if you go down at Promenade, which isn't too far from here, at Promenade, which is at Curly and Overpass, it's got common architecture, common colors, looks good.
And you're looking, when you drive into Fox Hollow, to the left side, there's an industrial building there, but they made it look like it's not. It was built into it, so it wasn't
I
like
know,
hidden.
I know which one you're talking
Oh,
about.
the commercial, the
Commercial?
office
It used
of
to be
the
the
association?
they used to make hangars in there.
It's not industrial, it is the association offices of the, like, Door Builders Association or something like that.
I think they used to make something in there, but.
There's one of the hangars that was down by, in Pinellas
Yes,
County.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, East Lake. Yeah, that hangar one was right there. Looked
Right
great,
there too,
yeah.
So I think if we get the look and go through, this does provide a great connection for this whole area that we desperately need to have to keep it flow. I mean, the flow's good now, but as things are being built up to the northern part, if we don't have that flow coming down, it's critical, I think, having the light at overpass is gonna be a big help as well. It's gonna be needed. It's just been a very important missing piece, so I think that staff in this conversation with the board now has actually enhanced it quite a bit. I think staff and the team, Barbara, you and your developers have done a good job working with us to try to find a way to get this done, so I'm pretty well satisfied to what I've heard, so I think you guys did a good job bringing it all together. The team's done great. And this is the type of thing, you know, we can't just keep on saying, we gotta wait for the development to get stuff done. When you get stuff done ahead of time in timeliness, like we used to be able to do from years ago until the state legislature changed the rules, it's harder. This is a great, I think, opportunity for success to get the best we can possibly get out of it.
So if you wanted to, your motion would include that we include language in the MPD conditions that require architectural materials and color, common architectural materials and color palette is what we have from another project that you haven't seen yet.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant or staff?
No, I'm grateful that you added the one more year. Thank you very much.
All right, it's to the board.
Move approval?
Second?
With the noted conditions Barbara just mentioned?
And the architectural.
And the conditions she just read?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that.
And,
Okay.
and we do have right-of-way for the multi-use, I heard that. So, okay.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Item
that the last
P58.
You did that.
We already have that.
Hmm?
That
Oh, yeah,
was-
we did 58.
You did that at the same.
So we are done with the public hearings. It's now to our
We
county
are?
attorney. Yeah, what was it?
And I was informed at the lunch break that I no longer need a litigation assessment meeting, so.
Meeting's gonna end up quicker than I thought. Okay, so with that
For
said.
which one?
One that you hadn't, it's a personal injury case.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anything else for the county attorney's office?
I'm
Right.
fine, thank you.
All right, and I think, wish you already did your,
I'm good.
thing, right? Okay. So can we just, I get some pictures up there? Want to make sure I get Commissioner Yeager. All right, so after we get done seeing the Vincent House, I drove home, and this is on Little Road with the Housing Authority building. This land is probably, seems to be about 4 acres, and it looks like that.
No.
And now I think with what we passed for the tree mitigation fund, we now have the authority to enable Mike to go landscape that whole thing.
Yes, please.
So I think we're gonna add quite a bit to it. And Commissioner Starkey, there's actually, I didn't get the picture, I don't think. There's actually a playground there that has no shade whatsoever.
Mm.
So I think we can do a lot better, and if someone would make a motion to, I don't know if I need to make a motion?
Is that Little Road right behind
That's
it?
Little Road, yeah.
Why isn't there a fence?
What are we seeing?
If it's on public land, I don't think I need it, but let me do some research, and if it is, I'll bring it back to you.
All right, so as far as in your authority, do you need a motion from us to go do that, or?
To my knowledge, if we're doing the planting on public lands, I've got spend authority
Yeah.
up to a
It's the-
certain level.
Yes.
So it's the affordable
let me
housing
let me
project.
do the
Great
research.
use for that.
Yeah. And if I have to come back, I'll come back.
Okay, and in the interim, you can.
And then
work
if
on getting
not,
the plan
we-
out there too.
I'm sensing,
All right, thank you.
okay.
They have no
Um,
backyard.
And I want to say,
Kids need to have
the
one.
people from Merrill Brothers went around the state talking
Oh.
about what they have done here. Obviously complimenting us, saying how much foresight we showed, how much money we have saved by signing up with them 8 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
9 years ago. We've saved a bunch of money. We're now doing something great. The product that's out there, that fertilizer, is unbelievable. It's going to be a great seller, and I think it's going to be great. And the great news is for the whole state, and I think the whole nation, these guys are going to be leading the way to something that's been phenomenal. So they did a great job with the presentation. I got to hear it. I actually learned a little bit more that some things I didn't quite
Where were
realize.
you when this was going
That
on?
was down in Pinellas Park. They did it last week, and they invited me down for it, and I says, I want to come down, so they kind of like did their presentation, talked about the whole project. They invited me up to go speak, and I talked about how great the partnership was, how we've gone through it, and how I recommend it for everybody. So, great work for everybody. Okay. Next one? Might just be the Vincent House. Was that it?
That's good.
Okay, well, we already said Lisa was there, Vincent House, you already
Like
took
this
pictures, we're all good.
Yeah, I want to bring something
All
up.
right, Commissioner Starkey.
I want to bring up a subject to you guys that's been bothering me for a while. And I don't, when you're driving around the county, please take notice, especially now when you're driving up Little Road and we have Newport Corners. Just like we all got pretty upset about all the trees that went down, I want you to look at the power lines that the developer chose to leave above ground and not put below ground. Notice on Starkey Boulevard, when you're driving north, that the original developers, us, put the power lines underground, and then we were able to put oak trees along Starkey Boulevard, and it's turning into a canopy road. But when you get to the new part that another developer did, that is where your daughter is, I think, looking at going, they chose to keep the poles above ground, and it's not a pretty look. But when I saw what happened at Newport Corners and Little Road, we have a problem with the ordinance. And most quality developers put those underground in front of their developments. And most counties require that, but we don't have that in our ordinance. And so I think we need to fix that ASAP.
Okay.
And Manatee, Do you know what it is?
I know that the subdivisions, but I think it's the same requirement we have. Subdivision roads are required, the subdivisions are required to have them underground. The collectors and arterials are
Yeah,
usually
within the
underground.
residential subdivisions, it is a requirement. They're buried there. On the collectors, it becomes a cost-benefit analysis that the developers usually weigh.
So, you know, our county is different. We don't have a lot of, especially on the west side, we don't have a lot of roads that aren't collectors and arterials. So all these new developments, they're coming on collectors, arterials, and we're making them ugly. And you'll never be able to have shade trees along those roads. So I think that that we need to look at that and craft something as soon as possible that, you know, I'm not saying the whole development it has to be under, but certainly that entrance area, or we just need to look at this, and I just challenge you to take a look at what happened to Little Road.
I don't mind taking a look and see what we could do.
We have a development on, you know, we had our Blueberry Farm on Lake Blanche Drive. We didn't pay attention to this, sadly, in our development agreement with the developer. It was a quality developer, but we didn't say those need to be underground. And I can tell you that I am now, my husband and I, we're gonna have to pay for them to go underground in front of our development, because we're just not gonna have that. Because we're keeping the front and we're doing something different up there. But, you know, if I could do it, and we're just a little guy, these guys can do it. And they should be doing it. We should be asking them to do it. Not distribution lines, but these, what do you call them?
Well, I mean, they're kind of, I mean, they're not.
Not
distribution.
transmission lines.
They're definitely not transmission.
Yeah.
That is certainly, but you're talking these 13, 36 KVA type lines that are used to feed communities, are
You know,
what you'd want to look at.
Starkey Boulevard is designated as a scenic road. They should never have been allowed to be above ground. I don't think that's in the definition of scenic road. And so, we gotta fix that.
All right, I'm willing to, let's say, take a look at it. I am a little
Okay.
cautious to what we do, because West Pasco redevelopment, prefer to put those new rules in, so depending how it looks, I'm willing to look at it to
Yeah, go look.
try to make it better.
Right, front only.
I can have staff do some research and report back to the board with that.
All right. And Mike, if you would, have staff go and take a look along 5A Road. Withlacoochee did some tree trimming that was down, and I've got some trees that are literally like this. They were a great canopy, but there's no balance in that anymore.
Mhm.
And if we get a big wind, big storm, we did have a few branches drop down the last storm, you could have those topple over. And if you could put some understory things that won't affect the power lines above, now that we have the landscaping thing, I think it'd make it look a lot better and probably do something good there.
Okay.
And is that, anything else before the board? All right.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, there was 2 items withdrawn from the noted item list, and
Yeah.
just so to note 2 withdrawals, N73 and N74. Thank you.
So noted. All right, thank you all, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't. Yep.
Some developers, it's going to be different draft overarching policy. I want to come back with a regular item, maybe in.
Oh, I said memo.
Memo regular. We're going to come back with a regular item. Okay. By the way, I like that dress.
You have a nice pen, sir.
I'm good. I think that was mine.
Yeah, well,
you down to pickleball.
this one too.
And I haven't.
That one was.
I